It's a new day. Friday is here. Welcome on the AM show. We're wrapping up the week, but we're wrapping up in style. So stay with us between now and 10 o'clock as we serve you the finest of morning television. My name is Benjamin Akakbo, and as always, I do this with Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. From us to you, we love you. Thank you for your company. Coming up, the news will come your way shortly. Right after that, I'm joined by assisting editor here at Joy News, Samuel Kojo-Brace. He'll be our guest for the news review. And then we get into our big stories. But of course, right before that, we'll be hearing from Muftau Nabila Abdullahi and Tariq Lamptey. Yes, he's going to be interviewing him, speaking to him on what exactly the journey has been like so far for him representing Ghana. And he has said that making the choice for Ghana was partly on the back of the warmth with which he was received when he came. Stay tuned for that on Prime Take. Now, this morning, I'll bring you another installment. I know you've missed it. Many messages came through of blunt thoughts, and I have titled it, New Month, Same Old Nonsense. Ghana's fast sinking ship. New month, same old nonsense. Ghana's fast sinking ship. You want to stay for that. It's going to be insightful. But beyond that, as we get into our big stories, we're going to be looking at a number of very pertinent matters as a new month has started. We'll be discussing what government should focus on for the rest of the year. What do you think? Well, our guest this morning, Sarah Mkawa, he's senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast School of Business. Divine Pe is programs officer with the Africa Education Watch. They will join us for that conversation. And coming up, the National Union of Ghana Students is worried about the delay in disbursement of funds by the Student Loan Trust Fund. It's becoming a huge problem. We've been interacting with the NUG's president, Dennis Apialabi Ampofu. He's been here before, he'll be back. Bernice Abubedu-Lansa also has a new show. In fact, the show has a new baby, if you like. And that baby is called Baby Doctor. We're going to deliver. Yes, we're in the delivery room. We'll bring you more details of that later on the show. You do want to stay tuned for that. Whether you have a child or not, whether you're planning on having a child, you should stay for Baby Doctor. We'll bring you more details later on the show. As always, we'd love to hear from you. So here's what you have to do. In the course of the program, whatever your thoughts are, share them with us via the live stream. And later, should we activate the phone lines, be sure to be one of those to call. Thank you. On that note, let's settle for the news. Time now for the news. Thank you for staying. In our first story, Deputy Finance Minister Abna Osei-Asare is said to meet pensioner bondholders today to address payment problems as she appeals to the bondholders to cease picketing the Finance Ministry. The minister made the appeal when she met the pensioner bondholders who resumed their picketing on Thursday after government failed to pay all their outstanding coupons and principals. The bondholders say government still owes them 5 coupons and 4 principals in arrears. We can now listen to the minister in a conversation with the bondholders.
That will allow government some space to operate. We all know what is happening. So when we meet here today, we are meeting tomorrow. Monday, we won't come. Tuesday, we won't come. Wednesday, we won't come, to give you the opportunity to start paying me. If by Wednesday we have seen that you have started paying, we won't come on the Thursday. But if by Wednesday evening we haven't seen any alert system working, then Thursday we are coming here. So today we'll be here, tomorrow we'll be here because we haven't seen anything. We will give you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to initiate the payment. Once we see that the payment have started flowing in, we will not come here on the Thursday. Because until we see something. That is it. That's the decision we have taken, that until we see payment, nothing will move us from here. That one, because we have done it. We have moved from here based on these promises and it's not coming. But so now we give you that time. Within the week, every Monday a coupon or two may mature, depending on the days. Last Monday there were 2 coupons. The previous Monday there was 1 coupon. You don't know. Some days 1, some days 2, depending on the. So if the coupon matures on Monday, due on Monday, we won't stock. We will think that if government want to pay, the instructions will be given and something will be done that Monday. If it wasn't done, Tuesday we'll see a sign. If it wasn't done, Wednesday we'll see a sign. If Wednesday we haven't seen a sign, then we take it that government is unable to pay, and then we come here on the Thursday. So that room is there for you. So today and tomorrow we are here. Monday we will give you the opportunity to pay, to start paying the 15, it will be 6. I don't know what will happen Monday. We are yet to compute what will be due on Monday. Assuming it is even only 1 coupon, it will be 6 on Monday, coming Monday. If we see that action has started on the payment, by Wednesday we have seen some actions, we won't come here on the Thursday. The next week, if actions are doing it, we will also come here. Before I realize, there will be no gathering here.
Let's meet tomorrow, discuss this and look at the long-term payment for the principal. So I would plead that tomorrow you don't come whilst we meet with you and see how best we can look at things. My father here is shaking his head. But as I speak to you, yesterday we collected, or we were given the coupons that were outstanding that we needed to pay, and then we are in talks with Bank of Ghana. And so I would ask that let's give ourselves tomorrow to have that meeting that you said you wrote to us but we failed to respond. Let's give ourselves that opportunity to have that meeting, and then I believe that from Monday you would see some payments being reflected for the coupons.
Madam Deputy Minister, what we will do is that tomorrow we will be here, but our leaders will come and meet with you, so that as soon as we finish, we will come and relay the message to them. So allow them to come. Yes.
Monday,
yes.
Wednesday.
They will give you the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know. Yeah, when we meet, they will put it into writing.
For a meeting with you tomorrow. So we'll put that into writing.
We will also come and meet. Yeah. As we are there, they are here. They will be backing us. When we finish the meeting, from that we will know how to what to do subsequently. At least we should also understand you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, from the Finance Ministry, let's talk about the National Identification Authority, which says it is working to ensure that all eligible applicants get their cards. This was after many Ghanaians thronged to the NIA's office to get their Ghana cards so they could register their SIM cards. Professor Ken Atefua is Executive Secretary of the NIA.
Well, I don't know how many people are here. I know that they are in hundreds. And NIA's serving capacity at the head office here, which is a premium registration center, is approximately 600. So in the best scenario, you can do about 650, 700 in a day. That's our setup capacity. Yesterday, we served more than 1,000 because toward the end of the day, I realized that the numbers of people here who had been so distressed could, with some ingenuity, be accommodated. I directed accordingly that every nook and cranny, every space available ought to be deployed and used, and the personnel and material resources found. So we were able to serve the people. I've given similar directions for today, but it disrupts the arrangements that had been put in place. It involves a banking service that has to be respected, a banking service with protocols and procedures that have to be respected. But yesterday, we had to make an exception and get regular accounting staff, finance department or directory staff go in and take cash, contrary to our arrangements of people paying with a token, paying with a PIN, and making sure that accountability and responsibility is without question. But we had to do what we had to do in order to accommodate the situation. Today we will repeat that performance.
On now to the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, which is advocating for major reforms in the current grading system used for the Basic Education Certificate examination. According to the Greater Accra Regional Chairperson of the association, Dr. Aisha Esiakrofi, the current grading system does not reflect the true performance of students. She was speaking on the sidelines of a stakeholder forum on BECE grading systems organized by the West African Examination Council. Here's a report by Prince Kwame Kuduga.
Is the main assessment examination used to select pupils from the basic level to the second cycle schools across the country. However, over the past few years, the performance of pupils continued to dwindle, with stakeholders calling for drastic measures to reverse the trend. Greater Accra Regional Chairperson of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, Dr. Aisha Esiakrofi, believes a change in the current grading system used for the BECE will help pupils.
Ghana National Association of Private Schools, it is an association of school owners. And so we're here today at the engagement for various stakeholders by WAEC. This is actually not the first one. We had various engagements. And our major concern is about the Stand 9 grading system. We feel it is not showing the accurate performances of our children. And so we expect that all stakeholders will come to the table once again. From the presentation of the speaker, we realized that from 2000, various committees had recommended that the Stand 9 system be taken a closer look at, but that hasn't been done. And now more of our teachers, parents, and we school owners have been agitating, especially for the past 3 years. And so we think this is the best time for us to sit down. GES plays a major role in this kind of engagement. We sit down with GES, WAEC, and then we as private schools, so that we can find an ending solution to this particular problem.
But the West Africa Examinations Council disagrees. Head of the WAEC National Office, Wendy Lamptey, insists the current grading system is the best.
We are all here, and then we heard what the Stand 9 system is. We are all here. We actually heard as explained that this is the system that came with the reform. We've also had the information that a number of committee reviews have worked on it and they have made recommendations. I think the Director General also mentioned that he has noted all the issues and then we'll carry on from there. But all in all, the system is fair.
Wendy Lamptey also dismissed claims WAEC has a different marking scheme for private schools and government schools in the BECE exams. She clarified that the council uses the same marking scheme for all candidates.
Recently, the office had to issue a rejoinder to an article that alleged that the council used two different marking schemes, one for private schools and one for public schools, for the BECE marking exercise for 2022. Let me use this opportunity to state that a final marking scheme is developed for each subject at the end of the preliminary coordination meetings. And all examiners use this final marking scheme to mark scripts for all the candidates for that particular subject. Indeed, such untrue statements about marking schemes and grading sheets mislead members of the public and create unnecessary anxiety among school authorities, candidates, and also parents. Mr. Chairman.
To better address the concerns of stakeholders, the West African Examination Council organized a stakeholders forum on BECE grading system. Prince Kwame Kuduga's report for Joy News.
Let's make tracks now, and 10 aspirants have picked forms to contest the upcoming presidential race of the governing New Patriotic Party. The NPP has, however, indicated that it is not overwhelmed by the numbers and expects more qualified party members to pick forms to contest. Samuel Mbura of our political desk now reports.
The latest to join the contest are former Railway Development Minister Joe Gatti and Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapon. Both camps are optimistic of winning the presidential contest in the NPP. Kwame Owusu, who is campaign manager for the Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapon, said there is a growing indiscipline leading to corruption in the country, a reason he is joining the race to correct the narrative.
Very easy. That is what people like. People want somebody who is disciplined. There's too many discipline in this country. Indiscipline leads to corruption. But once you see a man that you believe is honest and you're going to work for him, it has to be at the back of your mind that whatever you do, you face the whip very, very squarely. And honorable is somebody that everybody believes that that's what he believes in.
What is his policy for the business community?
His
policy for the business community?
Oh, and that's what I've demonstrated to you, that for all the people running and all the people who have run before, nobody has been a businessman. He's the only person who has done a lot of businesses in this country, across board, whether it's steel factory, whether it's so he knows everything about business.
However, Joe Gatti says he is bringing competent leadership and youth empowerment in the country and expressed optimism that his candidacy is backed by the grassroots. Majid Adam led his team to pick the nomination forms on his behalf.
Leadership of our time will lead to development. It must be seen as transformational rather than transitional. It is not just a matter of the fact that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is leaving and somebody must wear his shoes. We need a competent leader to wear his shoes so that Ghana will be better off than what we are seeing today. It is the reason the youth of this country, women from all walks of life, men from all walks of life are in to pick the nomination form for Honorable Joe Gatti. Thank you so very much.
What is he bringing on board?
Exactly. He's bringing leadership, confidence, developing the economy, prosperity, and changing the narrative of Ghana politics. Exactly what he's bringing on board.
It is unclear if more people will be picking forms to contest the presidential race in the NPP, but nominations are still opened till 24th June 2023.
Now, Daria Pogo, the cured leper in Joy News' Withered Skins documentary, who died earlier this week, has been laid to rest. Her plight caught the attention of Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who gave her a 2-bedroom house to live in with her family. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh led a delegation of the New Patriotic Party activists on behalf of the Vice President to commiserate with the family. Here's Rafiq Salam's report.
According to spokesperson of the family of Daria Pogo, Felix Nananzuma, the octogenarian cured leper suddenly took ill for some few days before passing on to eternity.
She was sick on Thursday. She fell sick on Thursday, passed on Sunday, and then they buried her the following day, according to the tradition. So she was buried on Sunday morning.
The story of Daria Pogo came to light following a hotline documentary by Joy News' Kwame Boateng, highlighting the inhumane and squalid conditions she's been living under. Daria Pogo contracted leprosy at a tender age and had all 10 fingers and toes except the big ones chopped off. She was abandoned by all in her family, including her children, except the granddaughter, whose name has only been given as Ajara. She was living in a jaded, mud-built death trap structure before Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia came to her rescue. Daria Pogo had her life changed at least for 844 days before she died last Sunday.
She wanted to visit the Vice President at the time that the Vice President lost his mother, but unfortunately she was not able to go there. But when she was alive, she kept on remembering talking about the vice president for the good gesture that was given to her. And she keep on saying that whatever the vice president wants to do, the Almighty God should put his hand on it to succeed. She keep on saying that.
She was buried on Monday, and the final funeral rite yet to be performed. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali led a delegation of NPP stalwarts on behalf of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to commiserate with the family over the loss of the woman he called his mother. Other members of the delegation included Upper West Regional Vice Chairman of the NPP, Alhaji Abdul Rahman Abdulaziz, and the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Zongo Development Fund, Haji Aisha Dagati. Dr. Bin Sali recounted the symbiotic relationship that existed between the late Daria Pogo and the Vice President.
His Excellency, the Vice President, posted a picture of he, the Vice President, and the late Daria Pogo on social media. That picture became viral, and after that, he asked me to come to the community to commiserate with the bereaved family. That is why my team and I are here this morning to commiserate with the family of the late Daria Pogo. The message we have is that they should remain calm. We know death is painful, but they should take heart and know that it's God who gives and God takes at the appropriate time. We are also here to find out if there are funeral arrangements. We should not be left out. They should inform me, and I will subsequently also inform the Vice President so that we can come and give our mother a befitting burial.
Daria Pogo is survived by 2 sons, a daughter, and 19 grandchildren. 85-year-old Daria Pogo was abandoned by her own family members, ostracized by the Motoro community, but later became the anchor of the development of the community. However, the building behind me, which was donated to her by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will remain for decades in the sands of time. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Motori.
And that's how we cap it off from Rafiq Salam's report, all the way from Awa. Stay with us, though. Up next, Samuel Kojo-Brace joins me for the news review. Well, thank you for staying with us. It's time now for us to cut into the newspapers, and I'll be doing so shortly. My partner in good things, positive things, is here with me in the studio. I'm sure you know him. He's my brother from another mother, and when I'm not here, you would often see his face. If you've not guessed yet, well, it's a secret. I'm going to keep till I get to him, but let me just say a very good morning. Yesterday, I met one of those fans, someone who loves the AM show and watches every morning, Eva Hackman of Zipline Omenako. Eva Hackman, this is for you. I know you're probably watching. I'll do it again, should I recall, at the end of the news review. But Eva Hackman, thank you for choosing Joy News, choosing the AM show, choosing us. Thank you so much. This segment is brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And of course, your health is your wealth, which is why you can't dilly-dally play with it. You should be checking your prostate if you're a man, especially after the 30s. It's no longer after the 50s. Your 30s, you should start checking. I'm telling you what is scientific because of happenings in recent times and the fact that we of this race tend to be more susceptible to prostate issues, the men, okay? If you're a woman, what's your fertility status? Do you know? That's why you have to head to Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And here's where you can locate them. Here in Accra at Spintex, opposite the Shell signboard. In Kumasi, Kronumabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's also Takrade Anaji Estate. The one who's joining me on the show is very familiar with that area. There's the Community 22, Techiman Hanswa and Siamanzama. Their call lines are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Make your way to them. But just the start of the news review with my man.
Yep.
My man.
Yo.
Samuel.
Yo.
Kojo Brave.
The Akapo.
SKB. Yeah, the Asante na kanwa na asa. Yeah, the doctor. Shouts to our senior man.
SKB Asante.
Nana.
Doctor. Charlie.
Yeah.
Too much. But I wouldn't say too much, pa.
But I say
too much.
No. I've not got. How can you mention Doc and say he's too much, and then in the same breath mention me and say I'm too much?
No, I mean,
I'm
not really in the same line.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just coincidence. But also
I'm recusing myself.
Yeah, also too much, yeah.
Just like you.
Lawyer in the making. Oh. How many languages can you speak now?
English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, a little German. Let's say 4.5.
Charlie.
Or 4.25.
Yeah. You have a huge profile, yeah?
We need to get Arabic and maybe Mandarin Chinese in there. Then we'll see how.
Then you're good to go.
And the kids, when they do come, they must, our children are supposed to step or sit on our shoulders and see Father. So if I do 5 or 6 or 7, they must do. But you see, the way the world is going, AI.
Yeah.
It's taking people's jobs.
Yeah, sure.
The developments across the world, if some things don't set you apart, you're going to be in a fix. I'll tell you for a fact, I have had certain roles, apart from everything else I've had certain roles, secured certain jobs, got certain gigs, purely because of my linguistic toolkit.
Yeah.
Purely. I MC programs. There's this program I did last year, and it was, apart from everything else that I am capable of, it was also because they could not find anyone who spoke French. I've been doing stuff with certain entities. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but it is crucial. And I've always said that if I were in any leadership position in this country, one thing I would push for hard is for us to go hard on languages, especially French. We're surrounded by Francophone countries for crying out loud. So you'd notice that for the African and West African portfolios, Ghanaians are really good, but they often lose out to the Francophones because the Francophones always have a good background in English, but our English-speaking or Anglophone countries, especially Ghana,
we're poor in Francophone. But this reminds me of a discussion. Would you say that because of that, we should sacrifice our own languages then?
The local languages?
Exactly.
No. You can do them side by side. I'll tell you, in the Ivory Coast and other places, do you know what they do? They have their local language set. They have French, which is their national language anyway. In the Ivory Coast, you will learn either of, Spanish or German? In addition to, so a lot of my Ivorian friends speak either Spanish or German.
Well, I was having a discussion with someone, and he was of the view that he wouldn't necessarily compel his kids to speak his language. Because,
his local language?
Yeah, because they won't do anything with it in life. Rather he would wish that they learn French, Spanish, or German. And I was like, no. If you do that, you are enslaving yourself and your children. It is important that they learn other languages, but you can't say they should sacrifice their own language for other language. No. You see, it's important we learn, like you're here, you're so capable because of the languages that you do know. But I'm not sure when they speak ever to you, first of all, if they say F1, can't you respond?
I can.
Exactly. So why would we think that, because our languages are not international? For example, I'm a hunter. Someone will ask, okay, so if you let your kids learn your hunter language, when they go to England or they go to America or they go to Spain, are they going to use their hunter language there? No, they won't. But it is also important that they get to know where they are from, their identity. You don't sacrifice their own language because I want them to learn English or French. So I tell them that, my friend that, look, that's why I strive to put the kids in a better school. go learn the English language, be taught French, be hard in it. I mean, when they get to senior high school, I find a way to even take them to Ivory Coast or somewhere so that they could learn the French language. But I can't say that because of that. I would say that when they come home, I'll speak English with them. No.
I'll tell you what, Samuel. That is getting lost. Now, many people don't know this, but I didn't grow up speaking Chi. I had to, at a point in time, learn how to speak Chi. Today I can read Chi, I can read Chi. All through no schooling, through my own effort.
Exactly.
Do you get it? Because I would have been completely lost. From the part of the country I hail, in the OT, and we speak Chi.
Yes.
Some will speak Guan. So my effort is not the best. But I understand when you speak. I can understand a lot of Ga. I just can't articulate everything properly. I can even speak a bit of Dagbani, just a little bit. You understand? We have to, and the positioning is this. The best way to learn another language is to start from your root or source language. Whether it is Ewe, Chi, Fanti, Dagbani, or whatever, or Ahanta. That's what people don't know. Yeah. So to say I want to give capacity, international capacity to my children when they do come, in terms of international languages, is by no means suggesting that they because there's this outfit up north. It attends to children who have been schooled, for a large, some are 10 years, 12 years, they've never been to school. They have a system they run.
Is it?
So when, I've forgotten that, no, but Dr. Abudu was speaking to me about it some time back. When they start you off, they don't start with English. They start with your local language and teach you certain things. So by the time they get into English, the understanding is there. But even one thing, if you don't start from the source, that's one of our problems. The child is going straight to English, has no knowledge of, but if you know that this is a noun in Ewe, and this is how it works, and this and that, when you're teaching the person about a noun in English,
it's simple. I mean, research has even, tried to give concretize this point that it is important you start off a child in his or her own mother language.
Exactly.
And then he can easily translate into English, French, or what have you. And I used to tell my friend, this same friend I was having the discussion with, like, look, when I was growing up, my mother was a stark illiterate, and I spent almost all my time with my mother. But it didn't make me a bad English student. I was even told in the senior high school, my friends will tell you I was an Greek student, but in English, I was always up there. It was only Justice Bedu who put me off the page, I think, twice or so.
Justice Bedu, shouts to him this morning.
And that's why I went to look for him. That's why we became friends.
Oh, I see.
I didn't understand who could push me off the English topping ladder. So I want to ask, who's Justice Bedu? And I found him, and then we became friends. So if you don't, it does not mean you are not good if your child doesn't speak English to you in the home, or your parents do not speak English to your children, in the home. It doesn't mean you are bad at all. No, let the kids learn their own language. Teach them. Let them accept it. Then it will be easier for them to move on to English or French or any other language. I say that I did it, and I believe my kids are also doing it. I let them speak Ahanta in the home. Ahanta and Fanta.
That's it.
Yeah.
Especially as your language is on the verge of extinction.
Yes. So you speak Ahanta in the home. When you go to school, they learn English. And I think that my kids are good. Really, really good.
That's the point.
So it doesn't mean that when they come home, force them to speak English. I'm saying this because the other time I was somewhere, and a parent was asking someone to speak English to the child. And I was like, no, we are not in school. When they go to school.
I saw that post.
Yeah.
I saw that post.
I think it's something that we need to check. And other people feel that, when they are home, speak English to them. Because English is international. His Akan or his Fanti or Wasa or Nzima won't do anything.
Here's a quick scenario. You only speak English to the children. And me, my children will speak very good English. Of course.
Yeah,
like father, like son and daughter.
Because you speak it
But imagine they go out there. And someone is plotting to kidnap them, and the person is speaking Chi or Ga or something. I mean, worst case. they don't understand a word. What do you think will happen?
Yeah, they are goners.
So make them rounded. That's the whole thing.
That's it.
This morning, I just saw, we've posted on Joy News on Facebook, what makes you proud as a Ghanaian? I want to start the conversation from here. You can go on Joy News on Facebook and check it out and give us your response. But what makes you proud as a Ghanaian, and what makes you feel as though you didn't want to be Ghanaian? I want to look at both sides very quickly before we get into...
I think our hospitality.
Hospitality?
Yes.
Are we still that hospitable anyway?
I think, in a way.
In a way.
When you go to the rural areas, I think in the city you might not really see that often, but in the rural areas, look, if you're a stranger, someone will find you and give you somewhere to sleep, or would keep you company until you are able to make your way out of that community. So I think that really inspires me, the way we are, especially when we meet ourselves outside of the country. A woman was telling me a story of how her child got help just because of the same language we were speaking. I mean, the person was on the phone, spoke a certain language. The person said, hey, you are this, oh, I'm also this person. And then that was it, then help started coming in. So that's one thing. But what doesn't make me too proud is how our leaders behave. Yeah, I think it leaves much to be desired, really. If you look at the sort of leadership we do have in this country, there's much more we could do. Yeah.
Well, for me, what makes me proud as a Ghanaian, this is the land of my birth. I love this country through and through. I love our history. I love the heritage. I love what we can be, what we can become. What makes me ashamed to be Ghanaian? Misleadership. Don't call it leadership. It's not leadership.
Okay.
Misleadership.
Oh, you have always said this.
Things like Galamsey, which are we are destroying the future for those yet to come. The corruption, that one I can find so many, so let's just leave it there. It breaks my heart. And this morning, as I share my blunt thoughts on the state of Ghana, new month, same old nonsense, Ghana's fast-sinking ship. I'll be talking about something like the taxes on pads. Minia, why should we have so many taxes on pads? 35% import duty, 20%. You have another 15% VAT. Why?
Yeah. I think as for that campaign, I think that it would yield a result soon, because it will get to a point government will get to see that, well, we need to do something about it. If our kids are not able to get parts because they are expensive, and because of that, some irresponsible men are taking advantage to impregnate these children, and even in worst cases, spreading HIV and AIDS to them. I mean, that insensitivity, irresponsibility, and I think that it will compel government to take a look at it again. For the sake of those very poor young girls, government need to look at that and
there are so many more of them. Those who can afford it versus those who can't afford it. There are so many more of those who can't afford it. So many people are falling into multi-dimensional poverty on the back of COVID-19 and this harsh economic situation. Why? I'll be sharing the example of other African countries, and it would amaze you. Many of these African countries have scrapped all taxes on sanitary pads. Yet in Ghana, we've heaped 35% on it. Who does that?
That's something we need to.
And I'll play that video, a snippet of that video about the young girl who, on the back of this, gave herself out to a predator, impregnated her, and infested her or infected her with HIV. All because she could not afford a sanitary pad.
It's sad, really.
Yeah.
Really. And I think the government should expedite actions on this. I mean, this one, it won't take them too much to...
This campaign, I promise to be on... Because I started saying it even before recent times with this, but I'm going to keep up on this campaign till something is done about those taxes.
We need to remove the taxes on the parts. Anyway.
Kojo, let's get into the papers now. You do the two papers you have.
Okay, but before I get into it, it's shocking how Ghana, the state of Ghana, has neglected the Sipon Sports Stadium.
You went there?
To be deteriorating to the level it is. Look, Ben, when I went in there, I was shocked because the first time I was there, I was watching a game between Sky FC and one other team. And it was so beautiful. That was my really first experience in a football stadium. And I loved it. I loved the Asipon Stadium. So when I went there the second time and I saw what had happened, it's like, wow. How can people, and that's the place that the National Sports Authority has 8 offices. How can we sit there and watch them for the stadium to deteriorate to that level? The finance minister came out to say that rehabilitation works on that stadium were 90%. And I got there and I was like, what?
Was it 98 or 90 on that one?
He says 90.
90%.
Who was really feeding the finance minister with all of these reports? Those people who were doing that were really, I don't know the adjective I have to give them, but they are nation wreckers. Because for a stadium like that, and if you see the pictures, Ben, we have it on my Joe Online and on our Facebook pages, it's just beyond description. A city that I sat on some time ago, and I go there and I meet rusted metals. Really? Oh, this country.
So if we didn't want to do it in the first place, why start it? Use our taxpayers' money, start the project, let it stall, and then now, so when you look at those seats, what it means is everything has to be removed and changed one more time.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Everything has to be removed.
Let's get into the papers.
Anyway, I have I have the Daily Guide, the Daily Statesman, and the new Crusading, the new Weekend Crusading Guide. Now, from the Daily Guide newspaper, I was in Ghana on my birthday. That's according to the Energy Minister Napo. 7 killed in fight over land. That's a story that came from they call some place Lukula. I think they say it's a border community between Northeast and that region. Now, Tema TikTok couple caged. Afoko denied bail again. Coup Monga refuses to plead. Okay, now let's go into it.
I guess that is talk about Oliver Mahosi using the law.
Now, 70-year-old chief of the Kuwerugu community near Lukula in the North Gonja district of the Savannah region has been reportedly killed in a renewed communal violence over disputed land. Salifu Nachina was said to have been shot dead at his house by gunmen who invaded the community. According to unconfirmed accounts, 6 other individuals were killed and several others were injured during the clash between members of the Gonja and Mamprusi tribes in Lukula, North Gonja district. Among the injured are 3 police officers who were dispatched to the Lukula community to restore law and order. The violence erupted yesterday dawn following 2 days of tension in the community, and eyewitnesses claimed several houses, mostly belonging to members of the Mamprusi tribe, were destroyed. Yesterday we spoke to the DC of the area, and he sought to portray that, well, it is not like we are hearing that people are dead and that everything is under control. They've dispatched some military men, security personnel to go there to keep the place under control. We'll be there today to really check how the community is, but it's just shocking how these things keep coming up. Yesterday when I saw the story, I was like, why do we almost all the time hear some of these stories from that part of the country? I think that our brothers and sisters there should, for once, sit down and think about the future of their children. Because when I saw videos of the community, I was asking myself, so if a child is living in this community, what sort of future is he or she looking up to? So they have to really sit down, take a stock of themselves and decide that, let's end all of this. What can we do really? What can the country do to fast track this process? Whatever we can, we need to do them, because hearing that month in, month out, there are issues of fightings and killings up north. It's heartbreaking for all of us, really. It's very, very heartbreaking to hear these stories of clashes and death, bloodshed in these communities. They have to have a simple confab and decide on the way forward, because really,
and this is not to suggest that people of that extraction are prone to anything.
No.
But it is to say that we need peace. Do you know why it's so troubling? Even apart from what is happening in those enclaves and the fact that there is loss of lives and property and all of that, this feeds into the terrorist scourge, insurgency scourge. If you allow these to foment long enough, it's like a gangrenous sore or going gangrene, if you allow the sore to fester long enough, you have serious problems in future. And looking at our sub-region and everything that is happening, that's not something we can afford to do.
Yeah. That's why I wish that, we have very fine people coming from there. Look at my own friend in Bura. Solid young man. And I'm sure these kind of people are scattered all over. At the university, when I was doing my undergraduate, my course rep, who was a course rep throughout, is from that area, Haruna. Fantastic young man. Look at the MPs that we have from that extraction. Look at the people in politics from that extraction. Fantastic young people. So I think that there has to be a discussion amongst themselves to see how we can end this. The other time was Boko, when the MP was even out of the country and he tried so hard to ensure that calm was restored. Can we for once have a discussion and see how we can really deal with this? Because, look, I'm not too happy when I do hear these stories coming from that end. And it goes to all of us, all around the country. Whether it is chieftaincy dispute or whatever, it is not worth it for us to share blood because of a misunderstanding. No, it is not worth it. Every misunderstanding can be settled when we do, have a tete-a-tete with it. Because whatever it is, whether it was started by our grandparent or whatever, they say that everything that has a beginning has an end. So whatever began should end at a point. So we should find a way to solve this. It's not really interesting for us to always be dwelling on this. Well, Ben,
and the chief of the area was a victim.
Yeah, was killed really.
Yeah,
he was in his home.
Yeah,
and some people attacked him and shot him. What for? What briefing were they given?
Yeah,
that really
on the back of another chief who was supposed to enter the town. And
that convinced you so much that taking someone's life will really solve it.
But this is where we also have to really take another look at our chieftaincy institution and the disputes that have been simmering and how to resolve them. The House of Chiefs, the Regional and National House of Chiefs. Over to you. Let's make tracks.
Well, okay, so let's look. Let's go to the daily statement because of time, right? So let me do that.
Oh, you can do some more stories. I will cut mine to the barest minimum.
Okay. So well, let me just do this one. Okay, I'll come to the here because I see a story on the here, so I'll come there. But let me do this story from the New States, the Daily Statesman. It says we need peace in Boko. VIP calls for collaborative effort from stakeholders. GFZA, that's the Ghana Free Zones Authority, unveils aftercare unit platform. NPP is on its way to making presidential history, and it comes with a picture of the National Youth Organizer Salam Mustafa. Joe Gatti says, I will offer transformational leadership as he picks his form. Well, all parties involved in Boko conflict have been charged to work together with the government and other important stakeholders to find solutions to any problems impeding the peace and development of the area, addressing traditional authorities and the people of the Upper East region during the commissioning of the renovated offices of the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs in Bogatanga. Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia expressed dissatisfaction at the attacks, injuries, and compromised security in the Boko area, which had impacted negatively not just on the area, but the nation as a whole. Quote, as a son of the soil, my heart breaks about what is happening in Boko. The conflict in Boko is very unfortunate because we are one people and we should be together and not fighting. End of quote, he said. That's the point.
That's the whole point.
That's the point. We are one people. No matter what we do.
Different colors, different languages, one people. Like that song.
Yes.
Different colors, one people, different colors, one people.
You see? Look, let me use you, Imbura, and myself.
Yeah.
We are from different parts.
Yet we're family.
Yes. We met here at Joy.
We're actually family. Like,
yeah.
we bond. We do together.
We bond so well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether I'm from the south, you are from the north, or you are from the central. We are one people. How much more if we are from the same region? That's the call the Vice President is making. That look, we are one people. We don't need to kill ourselves again. Let's end it, really. Well, Manchester United.
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. I'll leave the end for you. Glory, glory, Man United.
And the boys go marching on. That's what it is.
So Manchester Derby.
Ever.
I think it's the first time we're clashing in the final.
FA Cup?
In the final. Yes. I heard something like that on the BBC. I mean, the sports team could correct me, but I heard something like that, and that would be. But
it really shows that football is made in Manchester anyway.
Oh yeah.
Now Manchester United from unorthodox to unreliable. Oh, what has happened to De Gea? Really, and that's a question. Well, I'm not sure De Gea has been unreliable. He has been reliable, really. If you check the saves that he's made this year, he's won the Golden Gloves. So for the Premiership, it means that he's reliable as always. Now, the New Weekend Crusading guy says Nsafo Poku picks forms to lead party to victory. Yes, exactly. Now, big feat for Ghana Free Zones Authority, inaugural business support interaction. UEW Winneba Boils again, that university. Autocratic in court. Nana Ofori-Ansah must go. Concerned staff bay for governing council chairman's head. Works and Housing Minister commissions SHC housing project at Adenta and comments management and staff.
Before you get into any other story, our director who decides to take us on, I'll mention his name, Patrick Gomez.
What did he say?
Well, he was calling our team Manchester United a losing team, losing party.
Okay.
Wait,
no.
Were they not his team, Barcelona?
What does it?
Was it not the team we ousted from?
Oh, he supports Barcelona.
Yes, he's a Barcelona fan.
Any Barcelona fan is really. I don't want to really be on their wrong side this morning, but a lot of the times, if you support
that
Barcelona,
team has not. It's been in a shambles for how long now?
But really bad.
And he's still whispering in my ear, and I'm not even
we
going.
beat them terribly in the Europa Cup.
I mean,
we did.
Team Barcelona.
Oh no.
Charlie, let's move on. Let's treat them.
You remember
let's treat him and his team with the contempt.
There was this finding that Barca has been paying referees. And,
I know all of that.
So real.
Barca
until all your glory were referee aided, really.
And we knew. But then you see, at this decision, this penalty, and now it's coming out. We've seen it clearly. I can see clearly now the matches were bought.
We want a better team like Real Madrid to come and challenge us, not Barcelona.
But on that note, Karim Benzema is leaving Madrid.
Oh!
That's the news.
Wow, for which team?
Well, he may also be headed for Saudi Arabia. You know, Lionel Messi.
Oh, he's also going there? He's no longer going to Barca.
So you see, where zero goes, the rest of the
world goes.
What do you say? Let's do this.
CR7. Nobody. Let's go into yours.
All right, so the Daily Graphic this morning, I'll not go into too much detail, but spate of collapsed buildings. MMDAs must enforce land use laws. Spatial Planning Authority says so. Then, Asin North, current beehive of political activity. I'll come to you on that because our politicians, it is when something like this is there. Do you see the overnight road tarring and stuff in Kumeu? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
In Timunim. Munim so mu hia akwan. Some be yi akwan wo ho. So mo twen ye. By election ba there. Oh, tar it, or asphalt it. Useless. You will not do it. You see, I've always said, Kojo, if our leaders do the right things, probably they will not have to campaign.
Oh, yeah.
But because they do the wrong things and they want to pacify people, you know, the opposition actually got more votes this time in Kubeu. The by-election.
Okay.
They actually secured more votes.
Because the vote of the independent candidate also doing the vote.
Yes, but if you look at the differences, they are gaining ground. Why? You are not delivering to the people. If you want to do last-minute, midnight stuff, it tells me you are not there for me, and I will not compromise on something like that. And our leaders have to move away from that stance. Do what the people deserve. You see, in the Ashanti region now, there's a lot of talk. Recently, one of the major chiefs there was saying they are being taken for fools. I agree. If you say you're a party for, by and large, you are from that region, look at what is happening in that region. Do you get what I'm saying? And how about the rest of the country? Look, if you go to some places up north, your head will pie you. Why? Are they not Ghanaian? Seek advice if hypertension drugs make you sexually weak. That's according to a surgeon. Seek advice. But hypertension drugs, though, come with a number of complications, depending on you, the person, depending on what you're treating, depending on the degree of your ailment. But this, unfortunately, is becoming very common with young people as well, becoming hypertensive, and we have to look at that. Yeah. But efforts to grow economy focus on SMEs. Professor Bokpin to Government and Graphic Business Access Bank SME Clinic. Yes.
So that's why I join you. Now, I think we have 2 of those machines that you can check every day.
I checked mine the last time.
How your BP and all of that is. So it helps you to keep track. If you are getting off, you seek early medical attention so that you don't get to veer off. So we need to be doing that very often. When we don't know, some of the illnesses that we were only for older people today, all of us young people are getting them. So we need to check. And even in our eating as well. We don't exercise too. Ben, you sit in the car, drive to work.
Masa, let me share with you. Do you know my story? For a long time now, what I do is I have equipment at home that I use.
Okay.
Now I've been going to the gym on Saturday. I want to add at least maybe a Wednesday to it. After work, I hit the gym. And Charlie, this body that God, this temple that God has given us, Charlie, must last the entire span, and the talent must be brought to bear. And we must, what do you say? Charlie, we can't come and waste the time.
Those days, I remember those days. Every evening I'm on the field, but today, Charlie.
But you see, the thing is, if you want to use work, you know how busy our schedule is. And the hours of the day we are waking up and all of that. If you don't consciously and viciously deal with yourself to make time, the time will come when you'll be forced to go horizontal.
Charlie. Anyway.
But this one, just as we get ready to wrap, a professor of economics and finance at the University of Ghana, Godfrey Alufa Bokpin, has urged the state to prioritize and focus on small and medium enterprises in its quest to grow the economy. He stressed the need for deliberate support for the growth of the private sector, especially SMEs. And on page 13, a consultant cardiothoracic surgeon and director of the National Cardiothoracic Center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Matete, has advised men who suffer from sexual weakness after taking antihypertensive drugs to consult their doctors for other medications instead of abandoning treatment altogether. So don't throw the treatment away and say, because it's having this impact. You know, a lot of drugs come with contraindications and side effects. Yeah. So just look at that. The final newspaper, EcoBank doles out $120,000 to support elimination of malaria in Ghana. Kudos to EcoBank for that. And then, yes, kudos. I was there yesterday. Zipline made over 370,000 deliveries since 2019. That's according to the general manager. I was at this event in Omenako. And I think we'll leave it there. Do you have any final words before we wrap?
No, I just wish our viewers all the best for the morning, and everybody who is celebrating a birthday should have a good one.
Speaking of which, I see this video coming in from a very prominent person. I will not mention his name. I'll get to it and respond to him. But good morning. This one says, good morning. I'm reading the message verbatim. Good morning. Can you please send birthday greetings to my friend Harriet Gifty Amuni of the Upper East Health Directorate for me. And I wish her the best in life, and may God bless her. This is from your friend Konto Jocelyn of SDD Ubits in Wa. So from Konto Jocelyn of SDD Ubits in Wa to Harriet Gifty Amuni, Upper East Health Directorate. Happy birthday to you. One more time, let me give shouts to Eva Hackman of Zipline Omenako. I met this young lady at the facility yesterday, and she came. She was so impressed. She didn't know. In fact, she had heard I was going to be there. Okay. And she watches the AM show religiously. Really? She loves the show, and so I had to do it for her. Eva Hackman, Zipline Omenako, together with the entire Zipline team there. Mr. Bwame was my classmate from in Bishop Herman College way back.
Was he my mate or my we met in UCC as well. I don't know whether he was my mate or...
And then Mr. Ekufu, the Ghana lead for Zipline, as well as Wilfred Bernard and all the others from zip line.
We'll talk about the other one when you go off air.
We'll talk about the other one.
Once I know you were there.
Which other one?
Hold on. Well, you know what I'm talking about. We need to.
Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helping us to bring you this news review. They are offering free prostate screening and free female fertility screening as well. Locate them in Accra, Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi, Krono Mabwehian behind the Angel Educational Complex, Takrade Anaji State Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanso and Esiama Nzima. You can call them on 0244-867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Also note, all of us need water. Almost 70% in males more than in females, but almost 70% of our water, our body's composition is water. We also know water is life. And Awake is premium purified water treated through a strict purification process to ensure that every bottle on the market refreshes you better. And guess what? We have the perfect sizes for all purposes. So for the kids, for example, 330 and 500 ml bottles to fit in their pockets and bags. 750 ml for the heavy drinkers, 1.5 liters for those who always want more, like me. They also have their 19-liter jar bottles, which are ideal for homes and offices. So all you must do now is drink Awake Purified Drinking Water wherever you go. So choose a bottle of Awake Purified Drinking Water today and get quality, top-notch hydration. Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. Remember, for every bottle you buy, I always slow down here, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. Many cannot foot their bills. Each time you purchase Awake, they drop in a little coin for them so they can receive health care. It's another quality product by Casapreco Company Limited. For bulk purchases, just call 0262-351-251. And remember, this advert is FDA approved. Now, up next on Prime Take, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi engages Ghanaian defender. And now, out there, we're wondering which team is going to be playing for, but he is performing for Ghana. Tariq Lamptey, that is up next on Prime Take. Do stay.
Thank you for joining us, Tariq.
Thank you for having
me. Yeah, you're back home. These days you are coming to Ghana more and more.
Yeah, like I said, I always love coming back, and this time around just to do some charity work and work for my foundation for a couple of days.
I mean, it's even more impressive, I think, because you literally had just a few days to spare. And, you know, when I told somebody I was going to interview Tariq, they said, he's probably, I mean, usually would be at a beach somewhere stretching his legs, but you're back home. I mean, this obviously means the charity work is important to you.
Yeah, it's very important to me. Like I said, I think I've said a number of times, I'm grateful to God for the position that I'm in. But while I'm in this position, I want to make sure that I use it to help others. And to be honest, I really enjoy doing this. And it's not like for me, like I said, on the beach somewhere. No, I'd rather be here and be seeing the smile on the kids' faces, and I really appreciate all the work that my team has done in the background, so it's an honour to be here.
Yeah, even in years when you couldn't come in the beginning, you were always sending jerseys and stuff to some of these teams, and last year, you know, we had the opportunity to see you down here and watching you playing with the kids, and it was such an absolute joy for you, smiling all over and just hanging out like you are, you know, one of them, which I guess you are.
Yeah, everybody's, like, I think people forget that you start at that young age, you have a dream of just playing professional football. You don't, never in your wildest dreams you think you can be at like this level, and God willing you can go even higher. But like I said, everyone starts with just a playing surface and a ball. And then after that,
what's not to enjoy? What's not to enjoy about being a Black Star finally, yeah?
I'm very happy about that. Like I said, like the boys have been fantastic. The coaching staff, everyone involved has been really welcoming to me, and like I'm really enjoying my time. We have a really good squad, and we're looking forward to working hard, listening to what the coach has to say, and then improving and achieving our goals.
Yeah, you joined at the time when, you know, Ghana was getting ready for the World Cup. You know what the talk was like? It was an incredibly new-ish team, but people were really excited about the additions, like yourself, like Sally, you know, and the others who were coming in, especially from Germany and others. When you saw the new crop of players plus the experienced team together going to the World Cup, what did it feel like even before the final call-up? So, are you excited about what was coming in Qatar?
I think you're always excited to play for your country, no matter in the World Cup, in a friendly game. I think obviously the World Cup is special. You think about it when you're a little boy, but whenever you join up with the team, you're always excited and looking forward to getting down to work. Like I said, we have a great mixture in the team, and we're looking forward to doing some good things going forward.
Your first match for the Black Stars at the World Cup was South Korea. What was it like coming out of the dugout into the stadium and knowing you were going to play in the World Cup and represent your country?
Yeah, something that you can't put into words. It was a special moment for me, my family. It was amazing. And to be honest, that was one of the first times that in the full match I've actually looked around and properly soaked up everything that was happening. And
You're kidding? You like?
Nah, yeah. Before the game, like I was on the pitch in the warm-up and I was like, wow, like I can't believe I'm here. I was so grateful to God for the position that I'm in, and I was just thinking, okay, now it's time to go out there, do the job, and bring it home for the team, and that's what we were able to do on the day. So, yeah, it was an amazing day, and yeah, one that I'll remember.
Informally, I mean, how's the banter like with the lads? What do you speak with them?
You know what happens in the dressing room? Like, everyone's got good vibes, and like it's just really good group. It's a really good group, and I'm grateful to them for making it easy.
What do you speak with the team? English, Ga, Tree?
You know, we speak Tree. So it's all you know, there's different languages in there. So,
sure.
Like everyone's welcome. Everyone speaks whatever they feel comfortable with, and me, I'm good for everything. So it's all good.
Yeah, we saw your initial dancing video.
Oh no, you didn't see that. You didn't see that. I think that one has been deleted from all social media, so I'm not too sure where you got that one from.
Come on, man. I'm giving you a 9 over 10. What's your problem?
9 over 10? Oh,
yes, I'm giving you a 9 over 10.
I've seen the video.
I've seen the video, exactly. But, I mean, speaking about the vibe, Tariq, I followed the Black Stars by the grace of God, quite a long time, more than a decade, and the vibe around this team at the World Cup was truly amazing. I mean, you could feel the bond between you guys. So, off the pitch, what was the genuine expectation before the first ball was kicked in Qatar?
I think, like you said, you know the quality that you have in the group, you know the togetherness that you have. We have some players that have already been there and done it, so we didn't lean on them to help us to get through the experience, and they were fantastic for us, to be honest. And I think you have to take it game by game, because in football you can't look too far ahead. Every game brings different challenges, so we were concentrated on the first game that we had to do, and then after that we move on to the next and the next and the next, because you can't look too far ahead.
Unfortunately, things didn't go out as planned. Would you say the team disappointed Ghanaians?
To be honest, it's a thing where we always try our best. We work as hard as possible, and we go on the pitch to win. Like, we wasn't able to do that in this occasion, but for sure in the future we're working hard. We believe in ourselves, and we have to keep going through the challenges, because in football it's never straightforward, or there's always ups and downs, and you have to be able to ride it, and you have to have faith in yourself and faith in the team, and that's definitely something that we have. So, yeah.
Look, Ghanaians have not seen a trophy in 40 years-ish. How confident are you in the ability of this team to win something finally for the country?
So football is a very difficult game. It's hard that you're playing against players that are top, world-class players at the highest level. But we believe in ourselves, you have to. And in football, you don't go into any game thinking that you're going to lose. We always have the feeling that you're going to win. You always have the feeling that if you work hard and you prepare right, then you get the right result. So we don't really worry about the external factors. If we concentrate and we do what is right for us, like I said, take each game as it comes, and we're confident. We're confident.
You have a new boss, Chris Hughton. What was the first time you met him? Did you meet him in camp the first time, or?
No, I think I knew Chris from before. I think his coaching career, and he's a fantastic guy, and the coaching career speaks for itself. So I think we're all really excited to work under.
Yeah, I just want some, some anecdotes. How did you first meet him? Can you remember your first meeting with him professionally?
I think there's a few times. Obviously, he was back in England and he had ties to Brighton, so yeah, I can't remember the exact date, but yeah.
Okay, where the Black Stars is concerned, when you became a Black Star, how you first met him and all that, what was he like in terms of helping you to integrate into the side?
I think, like I said, that we have a really good group. Chris is a great guy, and I think you can see that on and off the pitch. It speaks for itself, but like the whole team, all the staff members, like I was really grateful. It was not just one person, like it was everyone that really welcomed me in. And like I said, I'm really grateful for that, and they made the experience easy for me to transition. Yeah,
you're yet to play a game under him, as a Black Star, obviously because of the injuries and everything. In terms of the position in the Black Stars that you play, how do you see the competition? How do you see yourself getting a game? Continuing to be consistently playing in that position?
I think it's like anything in football. You have to be fit first. You have to make sure that obviously my recovery is right. Eating well, sleeping well, and then training hard to make sure I'm back up to maximal level. I know my level, and then be training and playing well, and then we'll see what the coach decides.
African qualifiers coming up. That's the big thing. It's in January next. It's going to be next year. How excited are you at playing at a continental competition in Africa?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Obviously, there's a few steps before that, qualifiers and league games I have to play to make sure you get yourself into competitive form. But like, it's an amazing competition, and like you said, the ultimate goal would to go there and lift it. But yeah, like I said, there's steps before that, and yeah, it'll be amazing to play there, to experience it, and hopefully we can do well.
Any plans of how you intend to convince the technical team to put Tariq Lamptey's name on the team sheet for the first game when you come back?
You have to do the speaking on the pitch.
Yeah.
As simple as that. If you're training well, you're playing well, then you can only control what you can control, and then the rest is up to the coach and whoever to pick the team. But you have to just make sure that you're doing everything that you can control. I'm playing well for my club, and then after that we'll see.
Having played for England's youth teams, what would you say is the difference in terms of the expectation and the pressure between England of their national teams and Ghana in the national team in the short time you've been here?
You know, I get this question a lot, but I think that in football, it doesn't matter if you're playing friendly game, cup game, it's all the same. The outcome is you want to win the game. You want to do the best for the team that you're in. And once you're in the group, you feel it, everyone believes in you, and it's just go time.
Yeah, in terms of assimilating yourself in the team and bonding informally, who are like your buddies in the team now? You're working and you know that you're going to start mucking around with them and stuff like that.
No, I told you already, it's a good group.
Yeah.
So many players that like
anybody you chat,
we connect well. I chat with most of the boys,
Yeah.
Like obviously Semenyo is in England, so we chat quite a lot. Salisu is there. I saw Sinwana a couple of weeks back when we played them Southampton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're seeing people all the time. Yeah. You're seeing people all the time, and whenever we connect again, it's always good vibes. So.
What was it like when you came back from the World Cup and in the Brighton dressing room? Because now Brighton has quite a few World Cup players.
Yeah.
What did it do to Brighton?
I think it just showed the quality that we had in the squad and how hard we all worked to get to be in the positions. I think Alexis went and he won the World Cup with Argentina.
I was going to ask you that. Like,
yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and obviously you saw his medal, and you're great. You're happy for him. Like I was honestly happy for him because you see how hard he works. You see what a good guy he is, and you think like, fair enough, like well done, and you deserve it. And hopefully one day we can have the same feeling.
Well, yeah, Ghana to win the World Cup. Go Ghana.
No, it motivates you. It motivates you to get to that level, and I think it's everybody's dream. You want to be playing on the highest stage and winning the biggest of trophies.
Yeah, having World Cup players in the squad, what did it do to the team coming into the after December and January? Did it galvanize the team to something? Like, did it change anything?
No, I think it was already set from the start of the season. Nothing changed. We already knew the quality that we had in the group, and we already know how good of a players that we had. you have to, like I said, you have to trust the coaching staff and believe in the methods. And once you buy into it and you're working hard on the training pitch, the results will come out in itself on the match day.
Beyond the Alexis that we all see on telly and all that, what's it like in the dressing room?
Nah, he's a great guy. He's a really great guy. Like I can't speak highly enough of him. He's a good friend of mine and like a great player, as you already know. So, like I said, I was really happy for him. And to be honest, I was really happy for all the boys that played in the World Cup squad, because you know how much of a big moment it is for everybody. And it's special to see people that you work day in, day out with, the good days and the bad days, and playing for the country on the biggest stage is it's an amazing feeling.
I mean, obviously, Chris Hughton and the Black Stars have their own target in terms of what they want to do. But for you, Tariq Lamptey, what is your target realistically with the Black Stars, let's say in the next 5 years?
See, if I told you that, I'd be breaking my thing that I said to someone. They asked me the same thing, and I couldn't tell them. So on that case, I can't tell you either. But I just know that the targets they're very high.
They're very high.
Yeah. I'm a very ambitious person, and like I always try to aim for a high target.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be great things ahead.
I mean, as for your ambition, it's obviously clear. You are one of the star boys, you know, impending at Chelsea, and everybody knew that this guy was going straight to the top. But you had the opportunity to get more playing time, and you took the opportunity at Brighton. If I should ask you, was it at the time a risk going to Brighton? Because Brighton is not Liverpool, it's not, you know, Arsenal, it's not Spurs, it's not literally at the time a top 6 club that it is right now. Was it a risk?
I think when you back yourself and you have the foundations that I have behind me, I have a great family, I have a great friendship group that always believe in me, and I trust in God. So with that, I don't think you can really think of anything as a risk. I think it's something that you worked hard for, you believe in yourself, and you're ready to take the next step, and that was playing week in, week out in men's senior football. With anything that you do, you have to have trust and belief.
You must be a prophet, because choosing Brighton is probably the wildest great thing that you could have done, looking at how it's all panned out. I guess the question is, how does a team like Brighton, who have never, you know, played in the Premier League since it became the Premier League and have now gotten there, end up being a Europa League club? Like, how do you even begin to explain it?
I think there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. But for that one, you have to just call the chairman to ask him, because me. But nah, seriously, like, I'm asking you because you have played at Chelsea, which is, I mean, obviously a world-class club, and Brighton, which is, you know, just coming up as well. So even for you as a player, without being the chairman, how do you reckon they did it? How did you guys do it? I think the method that they use is very clear. Like, they get young players in, develop from the academy or from elsewhere. They develop them, and then they give them a stage to perform at, and to see the levels. I guess they trust in their systems, their methods, and to be honest, I think if you ask them, they'll tell you that maybe they didn't expect it to happen this quickly, but they were definitely aiming for this maybe. Like, I don't know, but there was always the goal to keep aiming top 10, then go higher, then go higher. I think you can never set a target too high, and obviously if you achieve it, then it's happy days.
The day the Europa League participation and your position in the Europa League that you're going to play inside was confirmed, what was the dressing room like? We saw the video, but really?
Yeah, it was unreal. It was amazing. It's like, those are the moments in football that you cherish and you play for, because at the end of the day, your fans are happy, you're happy, the person that you're in the whole season, like, everything is materialized, and you appreciate those moments, because there's some tough times, but these are the great times. Forward to playing in Europe next season.
Speaking of great times, as a team, it's been fantastic. You know, things have gone well. We know how it is. Some have gone to the World Cup and stuff. But for you, it's not been easy personally. Anything you want to tell us about how the down days were like?
Yeah, I think
of injury
in football. The last few weeks, obviously, I've been out. In football, these things happen. Yeah. You can't do. I think I've learned now that you can't dwell on it too much. You have to assess the situation, why it happened. And then once you do that, you just put all your energy into getting back as strong as possible. And like I said, I have good people around me, so they keep me upbeat, and I'm ready to come back next season. Like, I'm working as hard as possible to put myself in the best shape, and I think I'll be good. You are managed by arguably the hottest
coach in the Premier League apart from the winner, Pep Guardiola, right now. What is Roberto De Zerbi like?
I think his football and the results speak for itself. Like, he's a great coach. I think people have spoken about him tactically, how good he is, and I think on the training pitch he gives you all the ideas and all the tools to go out there and play your game, but to play it the way he wants you to play it, and you always have different options. So what we train is how we play. It's not like a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do everything. So it's good for us, and for me as a player, it's really good to develop, because I've had a few coaches now, and from each coach I try to soak in as much information and as much, I'll say, knowledge as possible. Because in the end, it makes you a better player. And if you know you can get to the top level, then you have no choice but to learn. And I'm really enjoying learning from every different coach.
Permit me to stay with the, what makes him different in terms of the other coaches that you've been in obviously in a positive way. How has he managed you to bring out something else in your game that's different from the others?
I think every coach sees different qualities in you. And like I said, tactically, he develops you, but also he knows your strengths, and he gives you confidence to go out there and play your game and play to the best of your ability.
Is that why he's used you as a right back, left back, and sometimes on the wings? I mean, how do you manage to assimilate all of that, playing in different...
I like it, to be honest. Me, anything that I can anything that I can do to help the team, that's what I do. Like, in my youth days, I can play right back, left back, centre mid, on the wings. So, like, it's not new to me.
It's not new,
It's not new. Like, I have the knowledge of that already. So, I think some of my goals this year have been on the left-hand side. So, I don't really mind. As long as I'm helping the team, I'm all good, and it develops my game as well. So, it's okay.
You might not have played too many games under De Zerbi, but what does he expect from his fullback?
That we giving away secrets.
Oh, come on, man. we see you play. Like, what else?
Yeah, I think he expects, like, the modern fullback has to be up and down, high energy, and good technically with the ball. So I think those are just a few things that he expects from you, and the stuff that you can do. So yeah, you're in your you're playing at the highest level and to the best of your ability.
Have you started playing the Europa League anthem already?
No, I haven't done that yet. I'm taking some time to rest for now, and then God willing, next year we will have a long journey in the competition.
Yeah, it's going to be a long journey. So I was coming to that. Look, statistically, teams that have just come into the Premier League, having promoted and had a few great seasons, they are always at a disadvantage, especially if they qualify to Europe, to go back into relegation. I'm sure you know that, because you don't have the physical exertion of a long season. The Premier League is a marathon, as it is. Adding Europa League football, the other the cup competitions and all that, it can take a toll. So obviously you personally are going to get gains, but what do you think Brighton fans' expectations will be next season with all this load?
It's a new thing for us. We haven't played the Europa League before and the Prem, so. But I think, to be honest, we're always looking forward to. It's a tough and long schedule, so if you want to get to that level, then you have to start somewhere, and we're quite fine. I look at statistically what's happened, because we're a different team. So I think you just have to look at what you have, prepare the way you prepare, and hopefully we should be fine.
A lot more hotels, a lot more traveling to, Europa League. You travel to all these exotic places, distances. How are you psyching yourself for all that? Possibly, obviously, if injury, you recover and everything goes according to shape.
I'll be fine. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, trips over Europe, playing in some of the biggest stadiums, and then come back to playing the Prem. Of course, it will be tough, and mentally it could be a lot. But I think we're ready for it. To be honest, I think when you've worked hard to get somewhere, you don't try to let it go as easy. So I think we'll be fine.
You reckon? Anyway,
you don't believe?
Well, I'm a bit of a stats person sometimes. So you look at the stats of teams that have just suddenly gone from the Championship a few seasons later they're in Europe. It can be a bit of a shake-up. But I mean, Brighton have shown that you have fantastic managerial capabilities, from the chairman right down to the coach and everything. And so, but yeah. I'll see it when I believe it. So you and Brighton have to give us your word that you're going to have a good season.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We believe in ourselves.
And for the fans as well, look, I was on a few Brighton forums before just to get a feel of what the fans think. Saw some of the videos about when you qualified and everything, and it's like they can't believe what's going on. If you have something to tell the fans about, this season, how it's gone and what should they expect, what would you tell the fans?
I'll say the fans have been amazing. Like throughout the journey that we've been on, last season, this season, they've always stuck by us. Yeah. And I think this is more for them. Being able to give them this is really special for us. And like I said, it's the first time in the club's history. So we hope that
by a cruel twist of fate, your former team Chelsea didn't have some great season. I mean, when you were watching their matches, how do you feel seeing that they were struggling as much as they were?
No, in football, you don't like to see anybody struggle. Yeah. Like, that's not whether you play for them, you don't play for them. I still have friends there. I still have people that I know that. So you'd like to see all your friends and your family members like doing well. Yeah. And that's the truth of the matter. Like, you don't like to see people struggling. That's not how I am. So hopefully they can have a good season next year because they have some really good players.
Yeah, sure. And what's it like anytime you were playing Brighton versus Chelsea? I mean, I know you're a professional and all that, but did they give you any sentiment about going back to the bridge and all that?
No, you're always grateful for me being in the youth teams there. I've learned a lot there. Had some great coaches that have all added different bits of their coaching to my game and made me the player that I am today. Like I said, I have friends that are brothers for life there, so like it's always special to go back. But I'm at Brighton now, and I'm also very happy and really grateful to be there. So when you're on the pitch, you want to win. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I enjoy going back, but I enjoy also playing for my team and getting the results.
Next 5 years, where do we see Tariq Lamptey dreams-wise?
Dreams-wise, I'm a vicious boy. So
You've said that already. This is the third time you're saying that.
I want to be playing like week in, week out on the highest level, on the biggest stages. So yeah, we'll see.
Potential Champions League football somewhere in Europe, maybe as well.
We have to wait for God's plan, but God willing, we get there.
Yeah, and then just as we started with your foundation as well, would love to see some of your mates. Next time you should bring some of your mates from your team along.
I'm sure they'll be more than happy to come. I think the time that we've done this one at is just a bit obviously difficult. The season is just finished. I only have a few days off. In the long term, for more people to come. I already have some friends that are with me this time, so yeah, it should be good.
Long term, I mean, Ghanaians love to see their own, in the country. Long term, would you consider doing? Coming to Ghana maybe after. I mean, your career is a long way away.
Yeah.
Probably, buying a house or something like that and settling here.
Yeah, of course, it's an amazing country, and like you said, it's where you're from. And this time we're here to do the foundation work over the next couple of days, and that's really important work for me. But while I'm here, I'm always catching up with family and friends, so I love being back here.
Yeah, I know there's 4 of you, siblings-wise.
3.
I mean, you have 3 other siblings?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yes, so there's 4 of you in total. Some are footballers as well?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers that are footballers.
Okay, are we to expect any more Lampteys at the highest level in the Premier League?
Can't be putting too much pressure on them. Like I said, if they enjoy the game and they grow up they want to be footballers, then that's their thing. But
yeah,
for now, we're just letting them play and enjoy
the football. Okay, Tariq, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So Tariq Lamptey, Black Star, and hopefully, by the time his career ends, World Cup winner of Ghana.
Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for my blunt thoughts. Right here, we're independent, fearless, and credible. Here's some independent, fearless, and credible for you this morning. I've titled my blunt thoughts, New Month, Same Old Nonsense. Ghana's fast sinking ship. New month, same old nonsense. Ghana's fast sinking ship. Ghana for, like Manifest and Diggity will say, Yepa asem su asem. And so asem yi dika. Inti hwan na beka? Benjamin Akakpo. Mia na meka. Mr. President, let me start with you this morning. You hounded out a supremely intelligent, unyieldingly diligent, and unflinchingly patriotic man who was willing to stand up to those greedy bloodsuckers in your administration who were up to no good. For that, you gave him the sack, employing the basest, crudest, most unleader-like tactics. As he has confirmed, you are not even paying him his full benefits upon retirement. Now witness your shame. You have egg all over your face. You did your worst. Today, Daniel Yaudomelevo has been vindicated. He's hailed as a hero. What are you referenced with again? I'm sure you know already. And the things people say about you are nothing good. It's a shame. I reserve some shame this morning for the judiciary as well, even as I congratulate them, yes, for their ruling on this matter. But they too ought to be ashamed for failing the people, for failing to speedily deal with this issue for some 2 whole years. Shame on you too. Thanks to your inertia on an issue as critical as this one, we've lost a fine brain and gentleman. This ruling is a lame attempt at trying to appear diligent and serving as a purveyor of justice. Justice? It's already been overly delayed and roundly denied. So what's this ruling going to do? Absolutely nothing. It's meaningless, precisely because you delayed this long. It may serve as some precedent for other executive members to come, presidents, but the die has already been cast. Shame on you too. Shame on you, Mr. President. Shame on you, the judiciary. You are quick to haul people before you for contempt. You knew the consequences, the gravity, the sheer enormity of this case, yet you waited until now to deliver a ruling. What do we do with this now, when the damage has long been done? When the stooges have taken over and lapped freely of the milk that the puppet master serves them? What do we do? But look behind me, and you'll see. It is a shame on us all of us, but especially our leaders, that our young girls have to beg for something as basic as sanitary pads. I'm reserving some shame too for Mr. Health Minister, for the Gender Minister, and for the President. Shame on you all. Why? So many taxes. How wicked, how cruel can we be? What did these young girls ever do to us, to you, Mr. President? Some of them end up succumbing to predation because you failed to protect them by taking away these highly obnoxious taxes. That's why. You're deemed a gender advocate, Mr. President. Yet girls and women cannot even afford to buy basic sanitary pads owing to obnoxious taxes. And you're happy. In fact, today, I'm not saying it for any other reason. I've been buying some of these sanitary pads and donating them to people. Today, I'm going to have to do the same because there are people who need it and I have to buy and give it to them for free. Why? So much for gender activism. Gender activist, my foot. And for those of you, hold it right there. For those of you who may be saying, oh, he's going too hard on him. When you come here, maybe you will understand me. The luxury taxes on sanitary pads. Why do we even say they are luxuries? Why do we put them in that category? A sanitary pad is a luxury? Blimey. Government must scrap luxury tax on sanitary pads. That's according to Rosetta Intriwa-Boache, Public Relations Officer of the National Association of Registered Midwives, Ghana. And recently, some of our young ones had to demonstrate, hit the streets on the back of that. We have a 20% import tax, which is unjust and unethical, according to her. Rural girls cannot keep menstrual hygiene owing to high cost. Adolescent girls are vulnerable to menstrual complications, and others have become victims of transactional sex to afford sanitary pads. Let's go to the next slide. Now, here's the breakdown. 20% import tax, 20, and 15% VAT on menstrual products, 35%. What's going on? 51% of Ghana's population is female. Women have an average of 450 menstruations over their lifetime. 1.8 billion people across the world menstruate. Of course, we know that of the women, not all of them, some are menopausal, they've crossed that period, and others are not even in that bracket. 500 million people lack access to menstrual products. In this country, a whole lot of us fall into that category. But here's the example of other countries, neighboring countries. Why are we not learning from them? What is wrong with us? Sanitary pads are exempted from tax in hop 2 steps. Nigeria, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, among others. What are we waiting for? What are you waiting for, Mr. President? What? You see, Mr. President has been going around bragging. We secured an IMF deal in 10 months, one of the fastest on record. Hey, Nana. You see, we really have no shame, do we? Now, after everything that has happened, it appears we're celebrating only the mediocre stuff. After dropping us into this sinkhole, we're patting ourselves on the back for getting a beggarly ride on a wimpy horse that is as stable as our electricity supply nowadays. That was meant to be sarcastic, by the way. We all know how erratic power supply has been, but hey, which words are more severe than pathetic? Because that's where we find ourselves now as a country. Pathetic. Beyond downright pathetic. You told us, cut your coat according to your cloth. Well, Mr. President, if you had done this earlier, walking the talk that you are not spewing, we wouldn't have been here in the first place begging for alms as though we were dim-witted. Why do I say this? No disrespect to any mendicants or beggars, but who would beg if they were not just rich but wealthy? You see, that's my point. In the midst of plenty, the fool is thirsty. That's us. In this exceeding abundance of natural and human resources, if we still go a-begging, then something must be fundamentally wrong with us, with our misleaders and how they think. It simply points to just how slack our leaders have been and continue to be, even while waxing lyrical about cutting our coat according to our cloth and blah, blah, blah. We knew that, and yet dug ourselves into a pit so the IMF could come and dig us out again. How is that even rational on any level? Who does that? Well, this administration does, apparently. They do. Mr. President said, there is no rush to get back to the international market. We will be ramping up our own domestic savings. We will have systematic control of our public expenditure. We must cut our coat according to our cloth. Yet, soon after, what did he say? Ghana will soon return to the international capital market. Who even gave him that assurance? Who told him that? This will provide the needed funding to execute government's mandate. Oh, so we can't execute government's mandate unless we go into the international market. So the resources that the World Bank and the IMF are giving us will not suffice, at least to cut our coat according to our cloth. Ayo. The shutting of the capital markets of the country has been a worry. So which is which? The first one, he said, or what he followed up with? Which one do we go with as a people? Now, the misery continues when it comes to our economy. If you follow Professor Steve Hanks' annual misery index, some don't like to hear his name, but I do. Whatever the circumstances, if he's pointing to some things that are right, I stick to them. Ghana has been ranked 15th, the 15th most miserable country globally, according to Professor Steve Hank. Inflation being the major contributory factor to the misery, and the current inflation, of course, standing at 41.2%. Now, if you look at the depreciation of the cedi in 2023, all in tandem with what I'm talking about, over the last month, how much have we lost in terms of value to the dollar? 21.7%. If you look at January, 20.6%, February, 22.7%, March, 22.7%, April, 21.7%, May, 21.7%. So the IMF money, our expectations about stabilizing the cedi have not really panned out. In fact, just a few days ago, about 2 days ago, it was trading at about 12 Ghana cedis plus to the dollar. It's fallen slightly, but with such instability, what are we going to do to our economy? Over the last week, the depreciation was over 9%. Why? This brings me to my closing commentary. You see what is here? Education, textbooks for laptops in SHS. This country here. What Mr. President said, cutting our coat according to our cloth. We don't know FOCO about that. We don't do that. Kasankwa. We will replace, and I'm reserving special shame for him as well, the vice president. We will replace textbooks with textbook-embedded laptops in the senior high schools. It's aimed at preparing students for the global village. To be implemented before the end of 2023. This will be more cost efficient. Sir. Next slide. Now, if you look at the same project, about 62,000 laptops were distributed to SHS teachers. You remember that? Teachers accused the GES of illegally using their money to purchase laptops for them. The All Teachers Alliance Ghana, ATAG, claimed the prices of the laptops had been inflated. You know what time it is. ATAG protested the initiative and asked the government to immediately refund their money. Now, if you look at this final slide, the IMF's recommendation to Ghana, of course, they had to tell us that our free SHS was poorly targeted. Kojo Oponkroma says, well, that was the aim from the beginning. We've never swayed from that. But does it make real sense, the way it's being executed and the many impediments, hurdles, problems it's facing? Should we still remain that way? It's said that it's only a fool who never changes his mind. Key identified areas of potential improvement of education spending include strengthening primary education resources, better teacher training, and stronger performance-based funding practices. Does that lend any credence to the laptops for students bit? Is that how we do it? Especially considering our resource constraints, or is it just something to represent something? You don't even have the resources to provide sanitary pads for vulnerable girls, but you claim that you are going to what? Provide laptops for SHS students. Next joke, please. I know you can do it, but only so some middleman in your government, and who knows, some others too, would get a cut. But to what end, I ask? Laptops? For what? Embedded with what? Provide them the textbooks they need. You've not been providing them that. What sense is there in that? Somebody, please tell me. And maybe just to wrap, what's happening anyway? Power banks are now the order of the day. When I went to Omenako yesterday, my phone was running down. Oh, quickly, I was able to. You know, some time back, you wouldn't find anybody with a power bank. It's back in vogue. It's in fashion now. I've already ordered mine because the light out situation is becoming rampant. About over a week ago, my lights went off about 6 times within the period of about 4 days. Monday, my light went off again. Thankfully, it wasn't too long before it was restored. But on that front, what exactly is happening? Tariffs have been increased. Why are lights still dooming and sawing? Is doom so back? Ghana, I reflect on all these things because I am a citizen. Or am I? Maybe someone will tell me I'm not even Ghanaian anymore. Because I love Ghana. This is the land of my birth. My umbilical cord is intricately tied to this country. And we must fight for the right things to be done, so posterity will not judge us wrongly. My name is Benjamin Akako. These are my blunt thoughts served for you on a Friday morning, raw, hot, unedited, unadulterated. God richly bless Ghana and make our motherland great and strong. Well, thank you for staying with us on the AM show. We stay on the political front, and like you can see behind me, it's all about Osuno Kukrudu, the New Patriotic Party. They are gearing up for that flag bearership race, and a number of people are picking up forms, 10 of them for now, all of them saying they are the ones to lead the NPP to break the 8. But with the numbers and all the dynamics piling up, what can we expect? Joining us this morning, Hackman Owusu-Agyeman. A lot of you know him. You should. He is chairman of the NPP's Council of Elders. He's been there, done that in the party. For now, he is chairman of the Council of Elders. Mr. Hackman, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
Well, and God bless you. Have a blessed day already before we start.
Thank you so much. It's just how many days ago that I saw you, but here we are one more time. A number of people have picked up forms for the flag bearership slot of the NPP. 10 of them and more are set to pick the forms. At a point, the party stated that if there were more than a certain number, they would have to trim down, they would have to go through some processes to trim down to 5. With the numbers that are picking forms, sir, what is the reaction of the Council of Elders?
Well, good morning to your listeners. I'd like to underscore the fact that the Council of Elders kind of looked at the totality of the whole party, the situation, and advise accordingly. In this instance, as is our tradition, it's an open contest, so each and every one of us who feels able to compete is welcome to do that. But in the process, then we have to put in place a system for filtering out, if you like, the people so that we get to 5. And that will be done by the Electoral College. Since we have more than 5, Electoral College of some almost 1,000 people, with comprising the MPs, the Council of Elders, and the National Council, the National Executive Committee.
Mr. Hackman, sorry to interject. If you could speak up just a little for us. I know it's early morning, but we're struggling a little to hear you. If you could speak up just a bit, we'd be grateful, sir.
I should do what, sorry?
If you could speak up just a little, like you just did.
Very well, sir. I apologize. What I'm saying is that yes, the National Council is aware of the number of people who are taking the forms. The process continues, and when it finishes, then we shall put in place the systems that we have as a party to filter in this number and bring it down to 5. For now, we are looking at the individuals who have come to introduce themselves to us. We have exchanged ideas with some of them. We have assessed some of them by the National Council. And I'd like to underscore that this is not the vetting process. No. This is the sort of the, if you like, the program, the advantage of the Council of Elders to meet with them, assess them, and also help us to clarify our own thinking of the individuals and what they stand for. In that process, we have met quite a few of them, and we are very satisfied with what is going on. And also, we also want to ensure to reinforce the fairness and the transparent nature of the elections that we are about to undertake.
So the numbers do not matter, even if 20. I think it was sometime when Kufuor was about to cede office. You remember the numbers we had, 14 or 17 or something of the like. Do the numbers matter or not? I mean, if you have a field of about 20 or 30, does the party have any concerns?
Well, it matters to some extent. There are few people in the party who think that it doesn't matter, but we thought that it was a bit untidy, quote and unquote, that the 17 of us will be competing for the same thing, falling over ourselves, and we didn't think that it did the party much good. That's why the party changed the constitution and said there should be an electoral college which should reduce the number to 5. That's manageable, and that's what we go nationwide. I think this system is done in most places. If you see the latest conservative up and downs in UK, the MPs there, the MPs do the filtering, and eventually they cut down to about 2 people who are then nationwide presented to them. And I think it's on the same modalities that we do. So the numbers matter a lot, otherwise it's a bit of confusion, and controlling it becomes a little bit of a problem. And so, yes, the numbers matter. and that's why we are trying to bring it down. Our intervention or our involvement at this stage is the fact that we like to talk to all of them, advise them on how they go about campaigning with decorum, decency, no insults, no collateral damage or anything, so we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. And all this is important that we underscore this to them, because sometimes, as they say in the Hackman language, the one who is raising the trade does not know that the back is not too straight. And so we will tell them what to do, and if we have heard anything that they have done, we also caution them, say from there going forward, this is how you must behave yourself. We have a code of conduct, certainly, as a party written, but still, it's important that the elders speak to them and underscore these points effectively, so that we will have, hopefully, a very peaceful elections, and then get a flag bearer who would then compete with the opposition and other parties, and hopefully make sure we break the 8, as we always say.
So you have a system to trim down the numbers. The electoral college system, do let us in. What is it going to look like? How are you going to implement it? If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you're going to implement this, right?
No, we did it the last time too. We've done it before. After the 17, the next one was also about 9 or so. We did it, yes. And
so you've been implementing this for a while now?
We've done it, yes. We've done it, I think, once or twice, and we are going to do it this time too, to bring down the number to 5. We've done it before, and it's quite effective in that some of the people, so we thought they should stand aside and let the others compete. So it's not a matter of trying to, if you like, chaperone the system to the effect that it goes to anybody's advantage. No, it's everybody's open, free and fair, and that's what we have to do, because trying to interfere in the system brings always confusion. But when we voting, well, everybody has got his vote and his preference, so it was that way. It's been quite useful. And
are there going to be, pardon the interjection, are there going to be any differences in how you implement this electoral collegiate system this time compared to the previous times? What has changed?
No, sir. So far, for this year, there are no changes. The Electoral College would compose their MPs, the National Council of Elders, National Council, as I enumerated before, and those ones would then vote as a single spot, hopefully, and then we'll be able to sort of tally the numbers, and the first 5 are the ones who would go on to the main election, which is scheduled for 4th November this year. So before that time, we would have done the Electoral College somewhere in August and pinned the number down to 5. And so nothing has changed from the previous years. The only thing which has changed is that we have to empower the candidates and ginger them to action and make sure that victory becomes ours come 2024.
In terms of the vetting process, what can we look forward to?
Ours that we have met so far, Chief, we've met almost quite a few of them. We've met at Dynamo, and we have met at Jakun, we met at Preku, and yesterday we met Usefrie, and then I think Akun Preku, and today we'll meet Chirmatin and Dr. Baumia, and so far it's been good, and we have been having interactive sessions with them. It's not a vetting process, as I keep saying. It's not the vetting process. The vetting process will be done by the vetting committee of the party, and but this is for them, if you like, in the traditional sense, introducing themselves to us as elders and saying that this is my ambition. Then we ask, where do you want to take Ghana? Where do you want to take this party? And they also answer, and we have questions for them. And it'll be very interesting situations, and some people have, to our minds, excelled themselves and told us things that maybe we were not conversant with, we were not aware of. So I think it's very interesting that we are having this first engagement with them, and then subsequently at the level of the national. When we go to do the filtering process, i.e. the electoral college, it also helps us to make up our mind and our own thinking vis-a-vis the individuals that are concerned. But the filtering process, as I keep saying, will take place sometime 26th, 27th of June, which is chaired by about 9 people, which will do the vetting to make sure that everything's okay.
There are some who have said that this entire process to pick...
Sorry, the line was breaking. Sorry, sir.
Is it better now? Is it better now, please?
I think there's some interest. Anyway, please go ahead. Let's see.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I am asking, there are some who say that this entire process of winnowing down to 5 only means some select group of people are going to be picked through whatever system. For example, they say definitely the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is going to be there, and Alan Kojo-Trematin is also going to be there. So it's not so much of a system it's just to handpick a few people. How do you react to that?
Well, that is, with the utmost of respect, that is your assessment of the situation. If in your mind, and I know that Joy FM is a leading institution with their electoral system, and when elections are there, they come almost first in all these things. So you have done your assessment, and your people have done the assessment. So it's you saying. But I think that surprises sometimes come out in the way. So we are not at this stage prejudging or preempting anybody. Whoever is the electoral college would vote for the people that would be. The advantage is not being given to anybody, and our role is to ensure that what the party has said is done freely and fairly, and everybody has got satisfaction. So at the end of the day, those who will lose will feel that it was a genuine loss, so they will join their other colleagues in making sure that the party remains united, cohesive, and be able to execute, be able to implement the program that we do, and so that we stay solidly together. A house divided upon itself always crumbles down. So it's all right, but it's not our assessment. If it's your assessment that the two would come, fine, but surprises are always cannot be ruled out. So we will do the voting and see how, as you say, the win will take place, and we'll see how it goes. And so I think that for now, we are not preempting anybody.
I will get to the bit about unity. It was my very next question. But are you saying then that the system is so transparent that it is even possible that when the 5 are selected, maybe a Dr. Bawumia could be not in there, or an Alan Trematin, it is possible that he would not be in there? Is that what you're saying?
Well, everything is possible. Everything is possible, but of course, probabilities and what have you, based on your research, you have made your sort of assessment. But everything is possible. For us, as I said, we are of an open mind as Council of Elders or as a party, and whoever comes out of this competition, it will be done. But I don't think that anybody, quite obviously, if you are in a particular position, it offers you a little advantage here and there. But at the end of the day, what we have to ensure that we have a system that is open, that is transparent, that though there's no intimidation, so that everybody will be happy. And if we have, as National Council of Elders, we don't ensure that they will have been derelict of our responsibilities as as a council, we do that. So our job is to make sure that whatever the rules, everybody plays the game by the rules. So I'm afraid I have to respectfully disagree with you that I don't think anybody is being given an advantage here or there. But I think you have something, you call it electoral. You have a section of your organization which you call electoral something, who take care of elections. So they should be doing the assessment and maybe predicting who will be. But that one is your prerogative and you'd handle that.
I think you're referring to our election headquarters or our political desk.
Exactly, like election headquarters. I've always enjoyed it and I've always benefited from it. I think they have a nationwide coverage and it's a good initiative which I would encourage you to continue because it keeps the populace informed of what is happening and the transparency and the fairness of the system is also underscored. So your election headquarters, that's a fantastic job, I must say. I appreciate it. Yeah.
We thank you for the kind words, Mr. Hackman. But in terms of the unity of your party, which is the next question I'm going to pose, there appear to be many schisms, cracks, crevices on the back of the fierce contestation. So we have a number of people, former members of parliament, former leaders of your party. In fact, people who have served former energy minister, former agric minister, the vice president is in there, former trade minister. The pool is quite a strong one. And all of them are gunning for the same position. But at the same time, their supporters are throwing pot shots at the other people. And some are saying all of this is creating disunity in your party. How united is the NPP ahead of this flag bearership race?
Well, whenever in the period leading to elections and selections, it's always a bit controversy arises here and there. But I think the fundamental issue of the solid cohesion, the party, is not compromised in any way. And that is why we as elders are talking to these aspirants and asking them to rein in their supporters so that we do these elections with utmost decorum and also that insult and devoid of all acrimony and insult and whatever and the rest. And as I say, sometimes we behave like a football team, like the football association. If we will hold them responsible for the utterances of their supporters, we will not let them go free. Because to say that, well, I did not say, somebody said it, no. You have to hold and then make sure that you call your supporters to order. So the unity, the cohesiveness of the party is not, as I say, it's not compromised in any way. We want to stay together, we want to stay strong, we want to stay focused, and we want to see and tout the achievements that we have done, the other difficulties, how we surmounted it, and see how the people of Ghana will react. Because at the end of the day, it's the advancement of Ghana that we are all looking for, and that must be the aim of a political party. And for us, we are no exception. So we will do things that will make Ghana proud that it has a system, democratic system, whereby people are able to express themselves. And those who aspire to lead must then also toe the line, straight and narrow path, to make sure that this country begins to do things the way they should be done, and without acrimony, without all these things. So our getting together is there. We know that a house divided upon itself will go nowhere. So we are not in any way joking with the unity of the party, and we are certain that our people understand that that's what's important. And the fairness of the system is what will get that. So nobody goes about shouting that it's been unfair. No, we want to ensure that it's fair, free and fair. That's what, both at our level and at the level of the nation, also the elections, they are free and fair.
Mr. Hackman, so my next question to you, you spoke about hopefully breaking the 8 earlier in your comments. The EIU says that actually the opposition NDC is in pole position to take over, which would mean that the 8-year cycle is going to continue. But your party wants to break the 8. When you look at the NPP today in terms of viability of staying in power for 2024, we've gone to the IMF. We said we wouldn't go there. The economy, I wouldn't say it's in a shambles, but it's in a dire place. The city still, even on the back of the IMF arrangement, is tumbling. Is it still viable? Is it possible for the NPP to win come 2024, to break the 8?
Well, my clearest understanding and appreciation of the situation is the fact that a few things sort of came together to give us a little difficulty in the management of the economy, i.e. the COVID and also the Ukraine-Russia war and a few other things. But, I mean, it is in governance, there are times that you go down, but how you rise is what is important. And we are rising because in record time, IMF gave us the support, and we are doing things that as we must do. We have not even compromised in any way the intervention, social intervention for the vulnerable, and they are all taking place. So I believe that in the next 18 months, we should be able to completely right the wrong that came in. We should be able to resolve the issues that were on the table, and then with the 8. But we are convinced, without any shadow of doubt, that if you take the example of Japan, Singapore, and all these people, the same parties have been in power 60 years or more. And so if we get a good leadership, which we hope to get, then we will be able to move on. So I don't think that in life, it's not a straightforward thing. There are ups and downs. And once this has happened, once we have surmounted it, whatever it is, our friends, Ghana's friends are there to assist, and they have assisted us, and we are going. There's no shadow of doubt that within the next 6 months, the economy would improve, and in the next year, it would also improve. And then all these put together with what we had done before in our first term would convince Ghanaians that we have done well. In fact, what it is that I believe when I see the list of interventions, the list of programs and projects that have been executed by this administration, I am impressed. And I know Africa quite well, like the back of my hand, when I was in charge the whole for the UN. So I know what I'm talking about, and I believe that these difficulties notwithstanding, we should be able to put ourselves together and show Ghanaians what we have done and what we intend to do. Match ourselves vis-a-vis the opposition and those who are opposing, and see where the good people of Ghana will decide. So, Chief, I like to submit that yes, there have been difficulties, but as I said, how we rise, how we get up is the most important, and how we've gotten up is apparent. It's impressive. That how we've gotten up is impressive. And within the shortest possible time, we have everybody supporting it, and that is it. It was difficult, but I'm sure the government, what he's doing has really helped the situation. And by your own assessment, and you have a very good team at Joy, you would know, if you do, and assess it vis-a-vis the programs and projects we've done, you would come to the conclusion that we have done fairly well and that we would do more to push us forward. I mean, the by-election in Kumawu showed that we haven't done badly, even with all that one. We 70% plus, and in a north, we are also going to win that.
And Sorry again for interjecting. I'm trying not to do that at all. I'll be getting to the Asin North situation on the back of Kumau, but on the back of everything that has happened, the IMF situation, Galamsey has spiraled out of control. Just a few days ago, I was speaking to my colleague Erastus Asari Donko. The Tanod, the Brim, the Pra, all of our rivers are getting ever murkier. And the situation, it appears, I mean, now there are people with equipment that we've not even seen before on our water bodies and all of that. You still think that, barring all of this, the party can win? You know, I remember Vice President Dr. Bawumia saying that they had a solid economic management team. People have questioned that. You've heard. Does the NPP still have the men to do this work?
Well, if I might take the last question, the men, yes, we have. Difficulties there would be. And resolving them is the essence of governance. I believe that what has happened on Galamsey maybe it's our Achilles heel. It's been very difficult resolving a human situation which, without using the force of military or police to do that. It's been very difficult, but I think that with the initiatives now being done and the reorientation of the programs, the water bodies which are being destroyed, and believe you me, once upon a time I was in charge of water also. I'm really distressed by it, and that means that we have to do something about it. And I think there have been late moves, there have been further moves by the government to try and resolve this Galamsey issue. There are other countries where they are mining, but they don't destroy their water bodies, and we should learn. We are learning from them. We should have programs for responsible small-scale mining, which will not destroy our water bodies as we are seeing now. And so this cannot be put only at the door of the government. We as a people must know that we must preserve these, if you like, water bodies for generations yet unborn. We cannot continue to do these things, and this is painfully, the government is painfully aware of this, and they will do it something to help it. But it's a very delicate human situation, and our own people, in a way, are not helping the situation.
But enforcement lies in the belly of government. The people, I mean, consider the issue of taxes across the world. If the government fails to implement, people will always find loopholes. If you leave people, they will do the wrong thing. It lies in the bosom of government to ensure that there's compliance, doesn't it?
It does indeed, because they must provide the leadership. They must provide solutions. The solutions together as a nation that we all embrace. And that is why everybody should come on board, and that's why we should handle the situation together. It's one of the most difficult situations that any government can encounter. It's gotten much worse at this time. It was always there, but it's gotten much worse. And so we have to all try and work together to make sure that the menace of Galamsey and the destroying of the water bodies are halted. And I think a few places we're making progress, and sometimes there's a drawback, and then they find that it's gone back. But I think that the current programs that are being put in place should lead to some level of rehabilitation of the water bodies that have been destroyed, and then we'll take it. We'll go from there. It's a difficult situation. I have to agree, and I have to say that so far we haven't achieved that much success, but some kind of progress has been made, some success has been achieved, and then we should be able to do that. It's all part of the gamut of issues that we would have to handle in the immediate future.
Mr. Hackman, as we get ready to wind down on the conversation, just two things I have left for you, unless there are any intervening matters. First, you made mention of Kumau and Asin North. Kumau, the NPP's votes dwindled by quite a bit, not just because of the independent candidates, the two bearing the same name who contested in that election, but also because, well, some people felt disgruntled by the party's performance. In fact, the opposition garnered a lot more votes than in election 2020. We all saw the nighttime road construction and all of that. And people felt, is it only at this time when we have a by-election that you can come and do this? And with the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP kneeling to beg them and all of that. When you look at Asin North, it's going to be even more difficult because your party lost by about 3,000 votes, and the NDC is, I've seen images, they intend putting up the same candidate, James Jachi Kwesen. That would be an interesting dynamic in our politics. But what do you make of that development? What are your expectations in Asin North?
But to go back to Kumau, I think that respectfully, and I underscore the word respectfully, I beg to disagree with you because you don't add numbers. I mean, you can play around with numbers the way you want to play around with. But you saying that they got more votes compared with this. But if you do an element of relativity analysis, you see that that assertion is not true. Because they have 2,000 and they have gone to 3,000, and for that matter, no, it's not. But I believe that let's leave that to the statisticians to resolve. But in my own mind, I don't believe that they got more votes. They added on to it. But by-elections have their peculiarities, and that's what happened. Now, on Asin North, yes, procurement of various other things were done long before. And if you see that what is happening in Asin North, there's a lot of developments as far as my information goes. And the people would come to appreciate that. I mean, by elections, I don't think that because a guy won by 3,000, it cannot be overturned. Look at what happened in the Hohoi. Even there, Hohoi, we've never won a place in voter. We managed to win. So if you get a good candidate, the issue to get a good candidate, a consensus candidate, who would then pick up our flag vis-a-vis the NDC. I believe sincerely that we have lost a lot of time in all these legal battles, but now the decision is made. We will go ahead and fight the battle. I am told that we are going to have our elections pretty soon. Open, free and fair elections at a constituency level, I think sometime this week or next week. And then be sure we get a candidate who would match whoever NDC put up, foot for foot, whether it's a question or whoever they decide to bring. I am hopeful, I'm very, very hopeful that we would win the Asin North seat. We've won it before, so we can do it again. It looks as if it was NDC, NPP, NDC, maybe time and NPP wins. And so I think that we can win that place. We have to work hard, and we are working hard to convince the people that it will be in their interest and it's good for them if NPP was given a nod from there to do what we have to do for them.
My final question, like I said, last two, so this is the final one, Mr. Hackman. Briefly, in terms of fighting graft, a lot has been graft, corruption. A lot has happened. The indices, I mean, the Ghana Statistical Service with that UN agency pointing to the fact that real-time corruption has increased.
Sorry, sir, the line was, did you say graft?
Yes, graft, anti-graft, so anti-corruption. I'm saying that the Ghana Statistical Service has come out with a report sometime last year, which points to the fact that real corruption is increasing. The Corruption Perception Index also indicates that we are not doing well at all. In terms of that, on the back of Daniel Yaudomelovo, the former Auditor General, and what the Supreme Court has ruled. What are your quick thoughts on that? The way he was treated and now the ruling of the Apex Court. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Uncle, Domlevo is my friend, and situation there, but you know that he was asked to go on leave. In the similar vein, Ajimandia, who was also Auditor General, was also instructed by President Atamils to go on leave. So it's not only NPP which has misinterpreted the Constitution. I'm coming.
Just pardon me, sir. Is that not equalization? I mean, if it's not good for the goose, it shouldn't be good for the gander.
No. It's not that. What I'm saying is that the interpretation may be by the two governments, by NDC government and by NPP government, was that the prerogative rested with the president to ask you to go on leave. And I'm saying that Ajimendia was also asked to take 246 days leave that was accumulated and was instructed and letter signed by the chief of staff to proceed on leave, which he did. And the same thing happened also in our administration to proceed on leave, which Domelevo did. Now the Apex Court says that is unconstitutional. So it means that the Constitution itself is hazy, it's not well crafted to the extent that it will be absolutely clear. But by using the original powers, they say that it's not constitutional. So it will not be done. But what I'm saying that it was done before and it was repeated, now it's bad. Now coming to the issue of corruption and the perception of corruption and whatever the rest. Well, it is that yes, some of the reports have not been favorable, but everything is being done to ensure that we handle this issue properly. Ghanaians should learn to be bold and tell the world what is happening. And then it should be followed by government and by the prosecutorial agencies. I sincerely believe that corruption is a bane of development in Africa as a people. And a lot more vigorous efforts need to be put in this in checking. But the corruption has run through the fabric of the whole society. If a civil servant is giving a project and he brings and he says it's 50 million, you have no way of checking, no value for money thing is happening. And then, so the corruption is in the society from A to Z. These days, it got a bit worse, but it's improving. So I believe that it can be done. It's just one of the problems, difficult problems that every government must tackle. But I believe that in the fullness of time, we can look at what has happened and how the government has reacted to it, and then we'll see. Right now, I am not seized with I'm not Okoro or Ofe with the details of the various initiatives that have been done to make sure that we get value for money in everything we do and that the corrupt practices are reduced to the minimum. It cannot be completely eliminated, I think, but at least effort will be made, and efforts are being made to believe that we tackle the issue of corruption. We ourselves, amongst ourselves, talk about it, and we are worried about it, and we have to find a way. Going forward, we have to find a way of really getting value for money for this nation. So I don't think that we have treated corruption lightly, but when you are asked to give effects, Ghanaians should also be bold to give up and tell what has happened. But when you don't tell it and you don't have the facts, then it becomes a perception, then you are not able to act. And so it's an issue which I think is also on the front burner, and corruption with Galamsey must be tackled vigorously, and it's being done. And I believe that, but as I said, the facts will not be available to me as to what has been done. But I know that some prosecutions, investigations are going on. Office of the Special Prosecutor is working, Attorney General is working, CID is working. But in all these, sometimes one wonder whether even the agencies that are supposed to prosecute are doing the best of things. And sometimes when you sit back, you find that maybe we should do better as a nation than what we are doing now. So if I've not been able to answer the issue very well because I don't have the facts, but I believe as far as I can gather, we are doing quite well with trying to, with a lot of effect to try and do what we must do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, the conversation has wrapped, but just because of how you ended, on a scale of 1 to 10, from start till now, this NPP administration, how would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10?
With regard to what?
With regard to, managing the affairs of the country, everything.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
What does that mean? That I think that...
where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest.
Yeah, I know, but I think that I will give a minimum of 7, 8.
7, 8.
Like minimum, because I think that what it is, the story is not being told. The interventions are not being told. The developments are not being told. If you look at what the list of things that have been done, and at the same time, even at the international level, the recognition, I think this government has done well. Certainly we can't get to 10, but I think 7, 8, I think would be a fairly good assessment of what we have done. But that doesn't mean we are resting on our oars. We have to work harder to make sure we deliver the goods to the good people of Ghana.
Mr. Owusu Agyemang, we are so grateful that this morning you took the time to join us, and we wish you the very best of the day, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I thought I was going to talk only about our intervention as Council of Elders on the electoral processes and
you see how I stretched it.
But now you've moved me to areas where I don't have sometimes I don't have the statistics. I think that, but anyway, you ambushed me on some of those issues, and so I didn't really. But I think what I knew, and I've been keeping pace with them, and they keep us informed. Is what I've said, and I thank you very much for this discussion, and have a blessed day. Thank you very much.
Same to you, sir. And even with your lack of preparation, you fared very well, sir. We're grateful for your time. Hackman Owusu Agyemang is chairman of the NPP Council of Elders. And you heard him there. When it comes to the NPP administration throughout the last 7 years, he would score the NPP 7 or 8 over 10. Well, that is done, dusted. Let's talk now about the next conversation we're having. It's a new month, 6th month of the year. But what are your expectations of this administration by close of 2023? What do you want to see? Well, we're going to be engaging our guests on that all-important matter. 2023 is a crucial year for Ghana. Our economy, our economic life, and a lot of other things, galamsey and all of that, are tied to it. If we get it right this year, it will lead into next year. Let's not forget the IMF program. So, what are your expectations? That conversation is up next on the AM show. Do stay.
Hello there, welcome to a new month. I'm Bernice Abubedulansa, and this is the AM show. Thank you so much for staying on with us. And that was an interesting conversation Benjamin had with Hackman Owusu Agyemang. It's a new month with new things like having to pay more for utilities and a lot more. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know how you're hoping to manage, but what are your expectations of government? Well, This morning, I've been joined by Divine Pe. He's Senior Programs Manager or Officer at Africa Education Watch. We usually speak to him on education matters, but today we want to find out from him in that sector and beyond what his expectations of government are. And then much later, when we get interactive, you would also be sharing with us what your expectations are. Hello, Divine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Dennis, thank you for having me.
All right. So let's go straight to the point. What are your expectations? New month, like I said, having to pay for more for utilities, people thinking about how to manage their homes and all that. What are your expectations of government?
All right. Thanks once again and good morning to viewers. And then you might, of course, our expectation generally will be in the area of education. And we are expecting that as we are inching close to the supplementary budget, the government, first of all, will use that opportunity to review budgetary allocation to education, because education budget has significantly been cut this year, especially for the goods and services aspects of the basic education budget, which has seen about 43% cut from the previous year, 2022. So for me, that will be the first thing, that when the opportunity comes in the supplementary budget, government will begin to work towards ensuring that financing for basic education goods and service budget particularly is reviewed to ensure that academic work at the basic education level is on the right track. Because even if you look at it, what's the name? The capitation grant that's supposed to even to be dispersed to school. It is now that the schools are even taking the first tranche of the 2022 academic year. That's the previous academic year. It is now that the first tranche is coming, and the amount that is coming is very minimal. Some schools or some municipalities, instead of receiving the first tranche, about 33% of that of their capitation grant, they are now receiving 9% of last academic year capitation grant. It means that they have not really started taking advantage of this particular 2023 capitation grant yet. So government will first have to ensure that the goods and service budget is reviewed in the supplementary budget and ensure timely release of a budgetary allocation, or especially the capitation grant to schools, and in this specific context, the basic schools. And then, of course, we'll be expecting that the government to take measures to address issues that are surrounding the Ghana school feeding program. We know that the caterers and their issue of increment are still not been resolved. So government, yes, we have seen in the 2023 budget 10% increment in the Ghana school feeding program, but that's just like 5 pesos. The demand of the caterer is that they need about 200% from the 97 pesos to 3 Ghana cedis, which is consistent with the 3 Ghana cedis launch that the government is paying at the senior high school level. We showed that although the tide seems to be a bit, it may not be stable for long. So government will still have to be able to continue to engage the caterers so that, again, in the supplementary budget, something can be done so that as we are preparing to end this second semester and begin the last semester, and of course, the next academic year will also be beginning this year, we will see that issues around in the Ghana school feeding program adequately resolved. And then the last one would be the government paying attention to getting the GET fund uncapped so that the infrastructure caps that are existing in our basic schools are addressed. So it's very important that GET fund steps are taken by the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Select Committee of Parliament Education, so that they can get the GET fund uncapped. Already there are steps that are quite advanced in terms of sponsoring of private members' bill to get the fund uncapped. So I am believing that this particular month, that particular private members' bill will be receiving support of other MPs, so that finally when it comes to the floor of Parliament, it will receive resounding support from all MPs, so that we can free resources that is meant for addressing the infrastructure needs in our school to be able to solve them. Because as I always mention, there still remain a significant number of schools that are still rather treacherous and dilapidated structures. There are furniture deficits, over 2.3 million deficits when it comes to furniture. So these issues cannot be addressed if the amount or the fund that is solely dedicated for addressing these needs are not free. So we need to get that also a priority in this particular month and going forward.
And so you're talking about the mid-year budget review, the supplementary budget, which usually happens in July. So it means that you're expecting that government will initiate steps towards achieving all the things that you're saying, not that they necessarily have to execute them in June, right? Just for purposes of clarity.
That's correct.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So the opportunity is now for government to do that. So exactly what I mean.
Right. So we have been highlighting the conditions in some schools across the country. We call it Ghana's schools of shame. And sometimes when you see the emotions attached to the desire of children to have an education, you just get a sense that the campaign on the importance of education has gone down well. It's just left with the infrastructure and the other support services that will enable that to happen. From where you sit, and considering where we are right now in the country's economic state, what will be the priority for you if government, for example, if government had $1 million to pump into education? What are the most important things that must be tackled first before any other thing?
All right, thank you. And I must start by commending Joy News for your campaign when it comes to highlighting the deficit in furniture in our schools, and not just the deficit, the dilapidated nature of our school building. Your campaign indeed is yielding results, I must tell. So I must comment, and we encourage other media houses to also join the campaign to ensure that these challenges are addressed. So for me, if government rightly have the money to address anything in the education space, first it has to be the infrastructure deficit, because if you have classrooms that are existing and then these classrooms are not occupied with desks for pupils to sit on and be comfortable to learn, then at the end of the day, that particular classroom, becomes useless. So it's very important that a significant priority is given to the desk needs if government rightly have the money sitting somewhere to address the most pressing need in the education sector. Then it has to first of all be at the basic education level, not at the senior high school level. It has to be at the basic education level, and then the focus will be to address the infrastructure need at the basic education level. And then also when it comes to the urban areas, the priority will be how to decongesting the large classes that are existing in our urban schools, because that's one of the challenges the urban schools have. If you go to some of the classrooms, you will see that they have about 80 or even over 80 pupils in a class, and there's no way an effective teaching can happen in such an environment. So I always make the case that in the urban area, the focus must be decongesting the classroom, and that can be done if we be able to expand existing schools. I know government always use the skills of availability of land in these urban areas, but we can still be able to expand these existing schools or able to collaborate with traditional authorities in these areas so that we can be able to identify land to site new school. So that has to be, and then also addressing the infrastructure need, because our study has revealed that is one of the causes of dropout in some instances. For instance, a study we did in 2021, that was trying to identify the dilapidated nature of some schools and their implication. Some parents told us that because of the dilapidated and non-availability of desks in school, they prefer sending their wards to school, and that actually came out in the Sawam Oti region, specifically the district name has a Pit. So some parents are actually disincentivized in sending their awards to school because of lack of desks in school. So it's very important that if we want to close the remaining access gap in our space, then we have to also pay priority attention to the desk situation in the country.
And since we've brought in the angle of priorities, let me just find out from you what your impression of government's desire to provide laptops to school-going children is. We heard the Vice President announce that a while ago. What are your impressions of that?
All right. It is a good idea for us to try to digitize the use of textbooks in our schools. That's okay, because of course the advantages are there. If students have been able to use this digital device, they are encouraged to use them frequently. There's some form of motivation for them to pick the device just to read from it. So that's one of the advantages. And of course, if you want to look at this lifespan, if you are about to compare textbook lifespan, which GES recommends that 5 years textbook should be replaced because their lifespan mostly would have been 5 years. I'm sure that if we have to be replacing this textbook 5 years, the cost for hard copy would have been much higher than that of the digital one. So it's good if you want to digitize textbook usage in our school, more especially also that now that we are talking about integrating of ICT in our education space. So it's okay, but the timing is what is wrong. Right now, as we speak, government is developing, or not even developing, it's almost concluding on the development of a new curriculum for usage at the senior high school level. So I'm sure by 2024-2025 academic year, that curriculum would have been in implementation after receiving cabinet approval. So it means that within a year or two, we'll be starting the implementation of new curriculum at the senior high school level. But the desire to supply this digitized textbook is going to be focused on the current textbooks that are in the system, based on the current curriculum that they are using. What it means is that if we continue at this particular moment to procure this digitized textbook based on the current curriculum that the students are using, within a year or two, it will become obsolete because the content will be changing very soon. So there's a need for us to delay the process so that if the new curriculum is approved and then NACA calls for textbooks suppliers or publishers to tender in textbook for approval. Once NACA approves something, then Ministry of Education has also procured a required textbook that will be used in the senior high school. Processes can begin to digitize some of these textbooks for usage. But right now, I don't think that it should be very immediate. And then also for the fact that we have not addressed the textbook deficits in the basic school yet, based on the current curriculum that they are using. We are almost into the 4th year of the implementation of the new curriculum at the primary school level. And per our check in December last year, it was only in 3 subjects that textbook have been supplied in. So if governments would have to make money available for usage of textbook, then it primarily has to be based on addressing the deficit at the basic school level, because that is very important. Teachers continue to face challenge because these textbooks are not available. For instance, they have to teach comprehension in the English language. It means they have to write the passage on blackboard, and how many, I don't even imagine the number of paragraphs that they can write on that particular blackboard, and by the time they finish writing, a good number of the period would have been elapsed. And then also people, some of them, because they may be far away from their board, they may not even be seen very well. So these challenges are existing. The government will need to pay attention to addressing the textbook deficit at the basic education. As far as the implementation of the new curriculum is concerned, then I'm sure once the SHS new curriculum is in force, we can have the conversation on digitizing textbooks usage in their school.
Thank you for your time, Divine Pearce Programs Officer at Africa Education Watch. And he's been sharing his expectations with us this new month, expectations of government in the education sector largely, because that is where his focus and domain is. Well, we will be staying a while on the education sector. There's a conversation about disbursement of loans for students who signed up onto the Student Loan Trust Fund. NUGS is concerned about the delays in disbursement. Much earlier this year in February, they raised concerns about the issue, but it's still not being resolved. So we go back at it and we figure out if there's been any improvement at all in getting the monies to students who need them. And much later, I will be sharing with you details on my new show, The Baby Doctor. You want to stay for that. Thank you so much for staying here on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubedulansa. It's now time to have that conversation about the Student Loan Trust Fund. There are concerns about the disbursement, and today I've been joined by the president of NUGS to share with us more on this, Dennis Apia Labi Ampafo. Hello, Dennis. It's good to have you here again. Trust you're doing well. In February this year, NUGS raised concerns about the non-disbursement of funds for students who have signed up onto the Student Loan Trust Fund. It's been a couple months down the line, and there's still been no disbursement at all. Is that the case, or it is that it hasn't gone as you would wish?
Thank you very much, Bernice. It's good to see you again, and I'm happy to be on Joy News this morning. Currently, the challenge with the disbursement or with the fund is that whereas we have about 50,000 plus students sitting on the fund waiting for disbursement, the fund has not been able to disburse even up to.
Sorry, Dennis. Your line is bad. Hello, Dennis. If you can hear me.
Over 55,000 students on the waiting, but no disbursement is coming. The only form of disbursement that has come this year came in the beginning of the year when we raised the concerns about the non-payment of the loans. That was when we received some disbursement to some few students. Beyond that, to date, we have first semester arrears unpaid, we have second semester unpaid. For first semester arrears, that is the previous semester, we have about 32,000 students unpaid. For second semester, same numbers. For fresh students who have now signed up and are awaiting disbursement for the very first time.
Hello, Dennis.
We have over 20,000 students unpaid, closing in on students. As we speak, universities are giving deadlines and ultimatums. As Students' Union of Ghana Students is extremely worried and is calling for a quick attention and an urgent intervention from the government of Ghana. Because the fund managers are not telling us anything. It is the same old story. It's the same old story. Give us time, we will pay. Give us time, we will pay. Extended to the National Secretariat. If you enter my emails, my inbox, and the number of students who are coming to the Secretariat every day, and the number of students attacking us every single day on issues of non-payment, you'll be shocked. So now the question is, why sustain a scheme or why allow a scheme to be there if it's not going to work? We are better off as scrapping the SLTF if we are not going to be getting it to work.
Now, Dennis, sorry. Hello, Dennis, can you hear me? Sorry to interject here. Has the fund offered any explanation beyond giving you the assurance that it will disburse the monies? What is the reason behind the delay?
What we get, in fact, just yesterday I was there, and the managers keep telling us they don't have money. They don't have money. They don't have money. We should give them time. They are going for money from where? They are going for money from here. They will pay. But the point is that if these excuses institutions, we would have a lot of our students deferring very soon. As we project at this point, if care is not taken, a minimum of about 30,000 students would have to defer. And now my question is, what is the essence of the student loan trust fund if it is not going to disburse? Is it just for being their sake? And most painful is the fact that we have even introduced a no guarantor. That is what hurts us the most. You have introduced a no guarantor that has been touted as a good thing, as a savior, as a helper to the helpless. But what is the essence of a no guarantor policy if it does not translate into students receiving support to pay their fees? Such that we have over 50,000 students waiting. The whole of this year, payment is not coming. The only payment that has come is that poultry sum that came beginning of the year.
And that was that to every student or a few?
What are we doing to our education aspect?
Hello, Dennis.
No, it wasn't to every student. It was to less than 10% of the applicants or the waiting list.
What influenced the selection process? Was it random, or the fund had a way of figuring out the most of the students with the most pressing needs? I'm just wondering how the fund determined to give to that 10% and
so the
leave
fund
the others.
has its own way of. So the fund has its own way of. So according to the fund managers, they use their own metric or their own systems of programming to select. But the point is that if you have an arrears list of last year, this year, entering into 50s of thousands, then it becomes a problem to even justify whichever numbers you support. Hello, Bernice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Dennis, I can.
So then it becomes a problem to justify whichever numbers you put out there that you supported. And every single day there are petitions from students all over the country. And you would be shocked because it may not have come to the attention of mainstream media. It may be belittled, but then the upheaval, the anxiety, the stress, the resentment in the student level by students, especially tertiary students, across the students, is amazing. It's huge. It's worrying. And at this point, a lot of our students are going to drop out. We face an existential threat if we do not quickly call for a stakeholder discussion on the continuation of a student loan. So at this point, the Student Loan Trust Fund needs a quick dialogue, a serious and urgent dialogue by the government of Ghana. We need to assess going forward. Are we going to continue the student loan and put students' hope up high that they have support to complete school? Meanwhile, the support doesn't exist. Or we scrap it off. The students know that they do not have any hope in anybody and that they are left to their fate. The country does not think about them. It is very terrible, and I'm very sad at this point because a lot of the messages come to me directly. A lot of the students will have to come and I'm helpless. We are helpless. Every one of us is helpless. So even the students will call you and cry. Some have been pushed to do things they do not hope to do. Some have been pushed. Our young girls especially.
Right. So that's how some of them.
So much of the plain language. Our young girls have been pushed. Some of them.
Hello, Dennis.
The worthy of speaking to it on national voice. If we are left to our fate that we do not have any student loan trust fund to support us, maybe individuals, maybe banks, maybe someone will help students. If we don't care about students, we should let them know that the student loan does not care about you.
Dennis,
the student loan trust fund is not going to help you.
Dennis, I get you're trying to be very kind with your words and not be as blunt, but you're suggesting that some girls are having to trade their bodies to pay their fees because the Student Loan Trust Fund is not forthcoming or disbursement is not forthcoming?
So I give you a typical story or a typical scenario that was reported, I think, on Monday about a young lady who actually went for a hostel, took a loan from a senior league to pay for the hostel. She had hoped that the student loan would come in to save her. Imagine this girl has not paid her fees. That is the main school fees. She has not paid her hostel fees because she took a loan for it. The young man that she took the loan from is on her neck and is demanding her body. So she quickly calls on us to come in to save her. And her cry is that she has no option and that if she doesn't get the money, she will be left to no option than to buy into what the gentleman is demanding. This girl has no parent for crying out loud. And these are samples. I'm restraining myself from going or being too plain with the language because I'm on national TV. But all I am saying is that the students of this country are in tears. We are in anxiety. There is a lot of anguish and pain because about 50,000 of us in the tertiary institutions across the country have not received the loan. It is not free money. It is not allowance. It is a loan that's supposed to be paid back. A loan that will be paid back regardless of the timelines. All we are saying is simple. Dear Student Loan Trust Fund, at this point, there is about, and as I speak to you, the arrears is in excess of 120 million. 120 million. And KUST has issued their deadline warning to the students that even if you pay 70%, you will not be allowed to register. KUST, a public institution. So you can imagine what is happening in the private institutions. So as I speak to you, KUST is not allowing students to register even if you pay up to 70% in the Student Loan Trust Fund scheme.
Right, Dennis.
And we've launched a no guarantor that has seen our... Hello, Dennis.
Yes, sorry, the line was bad. So we get the crux of the issue, and it will be important to begin telling the personalized stories. Okay.
So you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, but the line keeps breaking. But we get the crux of the matter, and we need to start sharing the personalized stories. Hopefully, we'll try and get a response from the Student Loan Trust Fund on another day. But thank you for highlighting the issue and working hard to get students in our universities have some respite in this regard. That was Dennis Apialabi-Ampofu. He's president of NUKS. It's now time for our next conversation. Watch this. Hello and welcome to The Baby Doctor with me, Bernice Abubedu-Lansa.
So the baby is forming nicely. The leg is forming nicely. One of my favorites is the one that when the baby is having hiccups, then they pull the thread of the napkin and put it on their head here.
Or just a shot of whiskey on the child's head, to kill the worms and, all these babies. A bundle of joy for all families.
And the objective of prenatal care is to anticipate problems and prevent problems.
Are there people who are born naturally without the ability to produce eggs or make children?
You can always be anything you want, but you cannot always have a child.
Welcome you to The Baby Doctor. Your Baby Doctor provides a guide to your child's healthy life. On this show, we tell you how to keep your baby healthy every day, because a healthy child makes a happy family.
Hello there. Yes, it's me. It's me again. And Benjamin has joined me now. Benjamin, so we've been cooking this show for a few months. Why do you have that smile on your face?
I love doing that when I'm on with you.
We've been incubating the show.
For We've been gestating. It's undergone gestation. It has its umbilical cord and everything. And now delivery.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're about to serve it to you. Hot, hot, hot. No, mine is hot, 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 but hers will be cool, cool, cool. That's nice because we're talking babies. You know, they're tender.
They're delicate. Babies are adorable. Babies are such a bundle of joy. They deserve the very best. And we realized, Benjamin, that there's very little, unfortunately, attention and programming around babies and children in our country. And so we decided to come up with the baby doctor. So basically what the baby doctor does is that it answers all your questions on your child's health needs. Okay. So we go beyond the physical health. Benjamin, we look at things like behavioral issues. We look at eating disorders. We look at traumas in children. We look at depression in children, stress in children.
It's so interesting you bring that up.
Yeah. So this is holistic. And what we try to do is so that our viewers and audience can follow, we try to build the story from as far back as trying to make the baby. Because for many babies that are born, there are certain things that happen even in the preconception stage that will affect the child. So you hear doctors say, for example, if you're a woman who's hoping to get pregnant, take folic acid. There's a reason for that.
As for folic acid, it's...
You get it. Or what are the physiological issues or what are the medical issues with mom and dad coming to make baby? Are they compatible? What kind of baby are you going to make as two individuals? Will it be a healthy baby? Will that baby survive? You know, so we go as
even for the man, your eating habits before conception, because you are literally what you eat. Your semen is made up of what you consume, and the quality of whatever you're eating impacts the quality of your semen, impacts what I say.
I'll give you,
so you have
share
to
my stethoscope with you.
Baby doctor too. And so we're talking pediatrics here, basically, but bite-sized, consumable bits for everybody.
Exactly. Fantastic description for it. So what we are looking at, it is the baby doctor, yes, but we will grow with your child from the conception stage all through to their 18. So we'll be that's why depression is stress in kids when they hit the teenage years, puberty, all those things, cancers in children, jaundice. I mean, it's so huge that we realize the lack, and that's why we are providing this quality programming for you. So you would see gynecologists, you will see pediatricians, you will see oncologists, you will see psychiatrists, everybody that matters. And you should be watching this program even if you are not a mother or a father. Here's why.
Do you know for me why I'm so excited? I'm going to be throwing 1,001 questions at you moving forward because I want to know. I'm well read in these matters, but there's always more. It's like peeling an onion, layer upon layer. And since I've not started having them yet, what I say, we're going to prepare to ensure that they are the Karifi day. So I'll be watching every segment.
Please do. Would love for you to watch. Would love for you to give us feedback. Also because this is such an exclusive product on the market, it's important that
I don't know any other entity that is running anything like this.
Yes, sir. And that's why, this is Joy News. So we do our survey, we do everything we need to do, and then we provide solutions to problems that exist. And so, Benjamin, it's an hour-long show in that we speak to the doctors, we ask the important questions, we give you tidbits, because we don't just want you to come and go. We need you to carry the salient information that will transform or help you cater for your child. And the reason I was saying that everybody should watch this program.
We're all involved.
You're all involved. Benjamin, I mean, you don't have a child yet, but I can leave my children in your care. You need to know. First
the thing
aid,
is,
for example,
I take care of a lot of children, and sometimes in those times I've done Sunday school and the rest. You still need to be on top of some of these things.
Exactly.
So if you're a Sunday school teacher or you deal with kids or whatever, you have to watch this. And it's going to be an hour of pure information, molded into bite-sized bits for you to be able to digest it. And every time you watch, you'll take away something that will be helpful to baby, your toddler, whatever, your child.
So the good thing about this is that because we want to catch everybody's eye, we have the show premieres tomorrow at 7 a.m. on this channel. There's a repeat on Sundays at 5:30
Way to go.
p.m. And then there is another repeat on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Right? So we are trying to catch everybody. It doesn't matter what time of the day is favorable for you. Because we need you to have this information.
If you don't catch it on Saturday, it's not all about the entertainment and this and that.
Yeah.
Learn something. You don't catch it on Saturday at 7. Catch it on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. If you don't catch it then there's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday at 10 p.m.
You can always catch it.
Yeah. So if you are a mother like me who is rushing in the morning and doing a lot of things and can't catch up, 5:30 may be too late for you. Just make time, because Benjamin, this is information that will save lives. I'm telling you, and I'm not saying this because I just want people to watch the show. It will save lives. We'll be treating things like first aid in children, and it's something we don't readily talk about here in this part of the world. Like, what do you do to a choking child? How do you help
Do you know that is
child?
exactly what came to my mind?
Yes.
That's precisely what came to my mind.
Yes. And so please, just keep it locked. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'll be on your screens with the first edition of The Baby Doctor.
Terrible.
Yes, and like I said, what we'll be looking at tomorrow is the preconception stage. So for those of you who are hoping to make babies, you need to learn. Knowledge is power, and until you encounter a situation where your knowledge has saved somebody's life, you won't appreciate some of these things. You have no idea the joy. You're in a restaurant and the child is choking and you're the only one who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So come, join me. Let's learn something. It'll be an exciting journey, Benjamin.
And from Baby Doctor 2, I'm not going to be there, but Baby Doctor 1 is going to be there with her crew, and they're going to, I don't think we need to belabor the point. This is something awesome that we really all have to partake in. There are some simple things that I've found online. You know how when a baby is crying, desperately bawling, sometimes you turn them, fold their arms, support them beneath, and there are little tricks that...
And that comes with experience. And I must say, on this note, that we have very experienced people coming to share knowledge with us. So Dr. Paddy Ayate, for example, he's an obstetrician, gynecologist, and he's been practicing for almost 2 decades, right? Wow. We have Dr. Coy, who runs the Coy Pediatrics, 2 hospitals exclusively for children. In Tema. She's also been practicing, if you take medicine specialization and all, for almost 3 decades. So these are very experienced people sharing their knowledge with us. So please, don't forget, it's starting tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Catch the repeat. Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Tuesday, 10 p.m. But even as we talk health, I shared my blunt thoughts with you today and spoke about the sanitary pad situation. It's become desperate. 35% taxes, 20% import tax, 15% VAT. I have been harping on this matter for a while, and I have to buy for some people. Today, I'm going to be buying for some people. They can't afford it. So, how about we revise? There are countries that have waived taxes off of them. Nigeria, Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, among others. What are we waiting for? There is this video, an interaction recently. A young girl, let me not tell the story. You watch it for yourself and tell me whether it makes any sense to have all these taxes on our sanitary products. After that, we'll be taking your calls. Let's watch this.
I used a toilet roll to cover that place, but because of the experience that happened, I didn't want to go out, so I didn't want anyone to laugh at me. So this guy, I was very young, so when I used the tissue paper, he saw me and then he was like, the tissue, I think the blood overflowed in the tissue, and then he made me wash.
Why didn't you go home? Why did you follow him to his house to go wash yourself?
I saw him as a father figure. So when I told him what is going on, he told me he'll give me 150 pesos to school, and then when I'm menstruating, he'll give me a pad.
But this was a bait.
Efia agreed to the man's proposal to come out of the shame she had to endure anytime she was in her menses. She was defiled and later got pregnant at age 14. During antenatal, she was tested HIV positive.
Whenever I go for antenatal, there was this time they told me to go for lab, and then I realized I was HIV positive. We did the test for 2 times and it all came out positive. At that moment, I blame my mom. I told her it's her fault. Why did she get sick for me to go there and then something like this to happen to me?
So there you have it. Young girl, just because of a sanitary situation, Pat, falling prey to a predator, getting pregnant, contracting HIV.
Sad. Sad. So this week, Benjamin, some girls have been campaigning. They were on the streets.
They were on the streets to demonstrate,
demanding that we take up the taxes from sanitary products. Please, our leaders, parliamentarians, this should not be something that should be a back and forth.
Don't we have a gender minister in this country? Health minister? Why are they? Anyway.
Well, share your thoughts with us. We've got some time to take a few calls. 0302-211-691, 0302-211-691. Please, when you call us, reduce the volume of your TV set. Just go straight to the point. We have a first caller. Hello? Oh, too bad. The line dropped. We apologize for that. But do call us, share your thoughts with us on any of the issues we've discussed. Benjamin had a conversation with Hackman Owusu-Adjuman. We spoke about expectations of government even as we enter a new month, and also on the Student Loan Trust Fund. And then I introduced you to my new baby doctor. And now we are talking about sanitary products and the need to take off taxes. Kwesi McCarthy Hill. Hello, Kwesi. Let's hear you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Dennis, I just want to talk about 2 things quickly. The first one is, why on earth would we put taxes on sanitary pads for our women to use? That is absurd. Other countries have stopped and we are still running on it. The second thing I want to say is that the pothole things that you guys are talking about, the root pothole, I think you are looking at it wrongly because you are blaming the contractors. Let me tell you something. Don't blame the contractors because whenever they give a contract, let's say a 1 million Ghana cedis contract to a road contract to construct, what happens is that 10% of the money is taken by the people who offered him the contract.
Kickbacks.
So the only money he has is 900,000 Ghana cedis to work on the place. And see, every day there are things that are increasing. Everything there are things increasing. So that the contractor probably is going for a loan. He's not a fool. He also has to find a way to make a little profit. So he would definitely squeeze up on the road for the road to end up like the way we have in Ghana. Because every time they give contractors work, 10% goes out of their money. I'm telling you, it goes to whoever gives them the contract, to the ministries and to the big bosses up there.
Are you a contractor yourself?
Yes, I am a contractor, so I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. And this is what is happening in Ghana. That's why your roads will never be better, because the people will take that money. They will take that money even before the contractor even gets the site. That half of that money is taken from the contractor.
Thank you.
Money is taken from the contractor. Thank you.
Kwesi, thank you so much for calling to share this.
You see the importance of asking whether, and you see how fervent, because he was speaking almost like out of experience. That's why I had to ask him, are you one? And he confirms it.
Yeah. And Benjamin, so you see all this borders on corruption. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're sitting at an agency that should give contracts out to construct roads, to build roads. Why do you want a kickback?
Yeah.
What is wrong with us? And we don't realize that all these things come back to bite us.
But you see, the same person there who takes the kickback, he may consume, when you don't work for money, you may blow the money, and he will also pass on the same roads, and his vehicle will be affected, and he will end up spending on it, but he doesn't. He doesn't really care.
V8.
Whatever it is, V8s are also vehicles. They still suffer wear and tear.
But I'm just saying that, and who would even pay for the maintenance of that vehicle?
You have a point, though.
So
they literally don't care.
Honestly.
So you see what we've been talking about.
Ebenezer is our next caller. Hello, Ebenezer. Please, let's hear you.
Hello.
Hi, Ebenezer, we can hear you. Please shoot.
Yeah, I want to speak on about the sanitary pads. I could see this one as a punishment they are placing on the people. Because it's not good to tax these things and vulnerable people cannot afford it. Because it's not easy at all. So I've seen that a punishment government is placing on the people. And we can bring suffering, and it can also lead people to do bad things. Because I know people, and they are almost about 17, 18 years, they can't afford these things. And they are also learning. They have been going to the centers to learn. Even to get food to satisfy themselves and go to work is difficult. And how would they even get money to buy these sanitary pads which have been taxed in such a way that they can't afford it? So I've seen it as a punishment government is placing on the Ghanaians.
Thank you, Ebenezer. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Right.
Reduce some taxes based on these things so that it can be affordable for everybody.
Thank you, Ebenezer. We appreciate your time here on the show. Benjamin, so he sees this as a punishment. And it just gives it a different perspective. Because as you look at the girls who were crying, the girls on the march, one of them was actually crying. Because you see, Benjamin, in that time of the month, you actually, for some of them, beyond needing a sanitary pad, they need much
It's a whole
care.
lot.
Some of them are going
They're experiencing
pain.
cramps, a lot of pain, psychological, whatever, emotional.
Joseph from Tamale, you are last caller. Let's hear you, please.
Yes. Good morning, and good morning to your US.
Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I want to talk about the baby doctor.
Right.
Some include the case of how maybe someone who have a baby or those who are trying to get the fruit of their womb. That the program contains those things. And I also want to see if join news with your relationship with your specialist and other things, if one is in need of. Is there any help? And then
If one is in need of what? What help exactly?
I mean a fruit of womb.
Fruit of the womb.
Yes.
Okay, so these are some issues that will be discussed on Baby Doctor.
So there are also issues of fertility and infertility. Look, it's a whole package, and you just want to stay and watch every single episode of it. Thank you so much for calling us. That was our last caller from Tamale, Benjamin.
I want to.
Oh, I think we lost him there. Too bad. Kwesi, that's the contractor who called us the first time. Kwesi, please, if you're still watching, I'd like for you to call us again, but this time we'll try and engage you off air. We just need some more information and feedback on the Ghana Potholes exhibition. But thank you so much for calling to share your experience with us, Benjamin. Before we go, though, there are a few messages. Do you have any birthday wish?
Yes, well, happy birthday. This one is from your son, Daniel D.T. Annan. May God bless you. Lydia Nunu.
In
Agape. Ablekuba. And that is from your son to you, Lydia Nunu. God richly bless you.
Right, okay, so that has been an exciting week. Benjamin and I serving you the very best when it comes to...
The finest of Bernice Abubedu-Lancer and the finest of Benjamin Akakpo, yours truly.
He's so mischievous, this one. Well, News Desk is up next. We'll be bringing you more insight on developing stories and speak to those who matter. But Kwesi, please, if you're still watching, kindly give us a call. We'd like to engage you off air for some further discussion. But from Benjamin and I...
From Baby Doctor number 2 and Baby Doctor number 1.
It's goodbye, but I'm back with News Desk in about a minute. Do stay.